Previously in Supreme Emptiness, the balance of the cultivation world begins to fracture as hidden powers step into the open, and Jiang Fan is forced to meet gathering storms head-on. In Supreme Emptiness Part 83, clouds stir across Central Earth, rival kings clash, ancient bloodline forces descend, and Jiang Fan presses toward the Sumeru Divine Prison while every alliance around him starts to crack. Xianxia is becoming more and more mysterious. I still remember our first meeting. It was in the book collection pavilion of the North Sea, and she had an unusual thirst for the knowledge of the world. Because of this, she assembled a vast network of sea demons, human clan and mainland demon clan groups to scour the continent and collect all kinds of intelligence for her. So much so that she even knew about Jiang Fan's mention of the great unity world that took place far away on the continent. Even more peculiar, whether she was in the sea or on the continent, she was always holding an umbrella. Even in vast sunny skies, it was the same. Because she said, "This world is sick, it has been raining all the time." And the umbrella in her hand fell from the sky when she was born. Now Jiang Fan has already realized what the so-called sky is. It is the void. Nothing would fall from the void for no reason. They are all caused by human actions. Just like the soul-awakening divine nails rain 800 years ago, which was caused by someone from the divine capital. The so-called umbrella should be the same. Jiang Fan rubbed his brow, and as his experience grew, he found Xianxia even more mysterious. Just after he finally understood Ling Yin, another similarly mysterious Xianxia emerged. If I get a chance to see her, I should discuss face-to-face. Jiang Fan sighed. He was embracing Chen Silin, and as they exchanged words, they talked for a full 2-hour period. Upon learning Su Yoren had stayed in the Hell Realm and had boundary master qualifications, Chen Silin wasn't envious, but rather admiring. "Sister Yoren must have stayed for your sake. She harbors no great obsession with the martial path. Her only obsession is you. When I become a sage and gain the power to protect myself, I'll also go to the Hell Realm to accompany her. I can't let her stay there alone." Jiang Fan nodded. "When I have the means to not fear the bloodthirsty Shura clan's boundary master, I'll also often go to the Hell Realm to see her." At this moment, a strand of struggle flashed through Chen Silin's eyes. She said, "Moon Venerate is about to assume control of the body." She quickly took out the Moon Venerate's space storage device, muttering a spell to open it, speaking rapidly. "My love, don't hesitate. Take what you see, take more. It's the Moon Venerate's and also mine, hee." Jiang Fan couldn't help but laugh, but it was impossible for him not to be tempted by a space storage device from a former sage. He scanned it with his consciousness. There was simply too much stuff, too much to even begin to take stock of. Seeing that the Moon Venerate was about to reclaim the body, he couldn't spare time to choose, and with a thought, he directly teleported away a mountain's worth of materials. Chen Silin's consciousness was dissipating swiftly. She cupped Jiang Fan's handsome face, saying, "Siling wishes for her beloved to triumph in tomorrow's battle," giving a fragrant kiss as encouragement. With that, she planted a kiss on Jiang Fan's lips. Jiang Fan just felt the softness and wetness, then Chen Silin. Or to be precise, the Moon Venerate hurriedly pulled back her lips, letting out a shriek. "I knew it would be like this." Moon Venerate covered her mouth like she'd been burned, struggling to leave Jiang Fan's embrace. Jiang Fan chuckled, "If you scream one more time, I'll make sure you wake up in bed next time." Moon Venerate was both embarrassed and angry. "You." All of a sudden, she discovered she was holding the space storage device in her palm and immediately exclaimed in frustration, "That dead girl, she even sent my things to you. Your treasures are much more than mine. Right? Isn't this robbing the poor to give to the rich?" She was utterly speechless. Chen Silin wanted to give everything to Jiang Fan. She might as well pack herself, the Moon Venerate, and send her to Jiang Fan too. Jiang Fan smiled. "Congratulations to Moon Venerate for overcoming the heavenly human 3 declines. Continue to consolidate your cultivation. I won't disturb you." With that, he vanished and left. Climbing up a large palace roof, he opened the space storage device to check what he had gained just now. Inside were all kinds of cultivation resources, mostly of the nascent soul realm, with a few of the divinity transformation realm. Among them, a brocade box caught his attention. Opening it, he found a jade token sealed inside, with characters etched on it condensed from moonlight. "Moon Palace Legacy. Ripple White Moon Chapter, Great Dark Moon Chapter, rivers and mountains share the moon." Jiang Fan was extremely astonished. The other 2 chapters he might not know, but isn't the Great Dark Moon exactly what the Silver Moon Great Venerate had used? A black moon could be summoned with a wave of the hand. Not broken, it would directly suppress the enemy with crushing force. Once broken, it would turn into a black barrage that strikes indiscriminately. It's an unstoppable force. Unless the enemy possesses powerful defensive techniques or treasures like yin-yang heaven, it is difficult to resist. Regarding the Ripple White Moon chapter, the meaning of the name is that when the moon in the water is swept by ripples, it shatters, but when the ripples calm, the moon restores itself. When applied to cultivation, it means storing moonlight power within the body. If the body shatters, the moonlight can instantly bond the body back together, preventing the destruction of the Taoist body, serving as a life-saving card. This technique was also used by the great Silver Moon Venerate, and it indeed safeguarded his Taoist body. Jiang Fan was quite moved. Having this technique is like carrying a golden feather for protection. As for the last technique, rivers and mountains share the moon, Jiang Fan clicked his tongue even more in amazement. This is actually a pupil skill. Its effect is exceedingly heaven-defying, able to launch a powerful moonlight attack across the distance of a great state on a fixed-point target. The power depends on the cultivator's cultivation and the moonlight power. In other words, if Jiang Fan masters it, he could sit in the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and target the young Emperor of Heavenly State with pinpoint bombardment. The Moon Palace has something to offer. This Moon Palace legacy doesn't seem simple. Jiang Fan touched the jade scroll, flipping it back and forth, looking at the cultivation method. The more he looked, the more tempted he became. However, what is the so-called moonlight power in this? Should I ask Moon Venerate? Better not. If she knew the Moon Palace's secret technique was lost, Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion would again wail like pigs being slaughtered. Better wait until Chen Silin wakes up next time to ask her. He resumed his examination, suddenly discovering a dozen or so independent small jade bottles. Upon focusing, he was surprised to find they were seeds resembling placentas. This is unique to the Moon Palace, capable of cultivating a body for someone to possess. Before, Cold Moon Sage was stingy and gave out 2. Jiang Fan distributed them to Jiang Wuya and Liang Feiyin, along with the blood of the sage to nurture them. He didn't know how they were cultivating now. Now that he had a bunch of placenta seeds, he found nowhere to put them to use. Suddenly, an idea came to Jiang Fan's mind, and a wisp of white smoke emerged from the space mirror, morphing into the soul body of the Purple Forbidden Venerable as it landed. During the war with the ancient giant before, having suffered the second decline of heavenly human, his body was destroyed, his soul saved by Jiang Fan. To avoid chaos and have his soul seized, Jiang Fan sheltered him. Jiang Fan took out a placenta seed and a bottle of the old dog's blood of the sage, saying, "Purple Forbidden Venerable, this is the unique embryo of the Moon Palace. Take and cultivate your body." The Purple Forbidden Venerable certainly knew what this was, excitedly kneeling on one knee. Junior thanks Senior Jiang for his great kindness. First for saving his soul, and now granting a body, it was no less than a rebirth of gratitude. Jiang Fan said, "Cultivate here in my Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, then return to the Great Wilderness State after possession." In the Great Wilderness State, which is full of demon cultivators, the Purple Forbidden Venerable wouldn't survive 3 seconds holding the treasure. The Purple Forbidden Venerable bowed again in thanks, immediately taking the 2 items to a secret chamber to begin body cultivation. Afterward, Jiang Fan pondered briefly and took out the ghost soul crystal. With a thought, the soul body of Mo Dinkian was released. He is at the divinity transformation realm of the divine weapon state. In the underground world of the demon continent, he attempted to kill him and Yue Mingzhu, trying to snatch the black lotus of tribulation's seeds. In the end, his body was shattered by Jiang Fan, and considering his knowledge in artifact refining, his soul was kept until now. Jiang Fan stared at him. A glint of cold light flashed in his eyes. "Mo Daoist, what are your plans for the future?" Mo Dinkian, sensing Jiang Fan's killing intent, tremblingly knelt down. "Senior Jiang, please have mercy. I am willing to stay by your side and follow your commands." Jiang Fan stared at him, his gaze fluctuating with uncertainty. After a moment, he waved his hand. "Considering you helped fuse the evil sword with the artifact spirit, our grudges are settled. Go and repair through possession on your own. But remember, if you resort to wrongdoing again, I will ensure your complete obliteration." The Heavenly Craft Sage and Wan Bing Venerable have been good to him. The divinity transformation realm of their great state should offer him a chance to redeem himself. Mo Dinkian felt deeply ashamed. Having witnessed the fierce battles of ancient giants and mankind's desperate expedition to the Hell Realm, how could I not repent? Thank you, Senior Jiang, for your generosity. If I do use possession, it will be to join the battle of the Heavenly Realm expedition. After bowing to Jiang Fan several times, Mo Dinkian vanished into the void. Jiang Fan watched him depart, feeling moved, and entered the space mirror with his consciousness. His gaze fell on the Usura Empress's family tied together by a rope. Seeing his arrival, all but the Usura Empress shrank back a little. Usura Empress said, "Do not panic, he is here to fulfill his promise to let one of you leave." "What?" The Heavenly Sword and Tianji exchanged looks of surprise. The Heavenly Sword said, "Let it be me." Tianji said, "You should let me go first." Jiang Fan's gaze skipped over them and landed on Tian Qin, saying, "You may leave. But you must leave Central Earth, you cannot linger." He dared not let a four-crowned king from the Dark Shura clan roam freely in Central Earth. "Me," Tian Qin pointed at herself and quickly shook her head. "I will not leave. I will stay here." Jiang Fan still possessed many Hell Abyss crystals. Once she gathered 4, she could break through to the 5-crowned King of Hell. Such opportunities are not absent in the Heavenly Realm, but obtaining 4 stones in a short time is unrealistic, as too many Shura clans in the Heavenly Realm are vying for the Hell Abyss crystal. On the contrary, how many Shura clan are around Jiang Fan? No need for competition here. It must be hard for the Empress to strive to please Jiang Fan more to gather the Hell Abyss crystals quickly. "You are not leaving." Jiang Fan looked at her speechlessly, saying, "All right, I will deal with the Heavenly Realm first, then come for the 4 of you." Exiting the space mirror, Jiang Fan breathed a sigh of relief. Everyone who needed handling was dealt with. Next, there were other matters to tend to. At this moment, he noticed someone sitting on the rooftop in the distance. Her light yellow gown and ink-black hair fluttered slightly in the night breeze. Her thin and solitary silhouette under moonlight appeared cool and desolate. It was the true word Venerable. She hugged her knees, tilted her chin slightly, silently gazing at the moon, lost in thought. Jiang Fan sighed lightly, silently using instantaneous movement to sit beside her. True word Venerable, just waking, turned to see Jiang Fan, naturally leaning against him, saying, "How goes your cultivation?" Jiang Fan held her hand, softly rubbing it, saying, "All is prepared, waiting only for dawn." True word Venerable's jade-like fingers intertwined with Jiang Fan's, softly saying, "Come back. If you are lost too, the world would be left with only me." Jiang Fan's eyes flickered with long hesitation. Finally, he released the True Word Venerable's hand, pulled out a void feather robe, draping it around her. True Word Venerable asked in confusion, "What is this?" Jiang Fan pulled her into an embrace, kissing her forehead, saying, "It's the Angel Clan's void feather robe. Wearing it allows you to traverse freely in the void. Take it and find Xingyuan Venerable." True Word Venerable's body quivered, her eyes gradually widened. "You know what I'm thinking." Jiang Fan held her tightly, saying, "How could I not know? Though you're by my side, have you ever been truly happy? Your heart harbors apologies to Xingyuan Venerable, worries about his unknown fate, and desires for kinship. All these can be felt without seeing. This robe I prepared for you long ago. Find the right moment, wear it, and leave Central Earth. I set you free." Before heading to the Hell Realm, Jiang Fan already felt True Word Venerable's emotions, and understood her heart was not with him. Separation was inevitable. True Word Venerable stood frozen, her heart struck by overwhelming emotions. She never realized that Jiang Fan, always busy, had been silently paying attention to her. Never thought her deeply buried heart's knot was already known by Jiang Fan. Now he personally fitted her with wings to fly away, and her departure possibly meant never returning. What if I don't return? True Word Venerable gazed into Jiang Fan's eyes, asking complexly. She yearned to return to Xingyuan Venerable's side, but if he cannot return, would she abandon him to come back to Jiang Fan? Jiang Fan looked at the moon overhead, pain flickering in his eyes, softly saying, "Then, may your life ahead be gentle. Do not again be all alone by washing Moon Lake as before, without friends, relatives, joy, or laughter." He lowered his head, meeting True Word Venerable's eyes, saying, "I cannot untangle your heart's knots. What is in my power is only to let you go. Tomorrow's battle holds uncertain fate, so I could only give you the robe early. Take care. True Word, you were the beautiful female Venerable who protected me weak as I was from Evil Crow Venerable. I will always remember in my heart." True Word Venerable's shoulders shook under moonlight. Crystal-clear pearls flowed silently down her cheeks. She never loved Jiang Fan. Never. Even when they consummated their marriage, it was only absence of resentment. Even when Jiang Fan employed the grand wish of heaven to preserve Xingyuan Venerable's soul, leaving him aged and gray, she merely saw him as family. Love never existed. But at this moment her heart ached, thinking about leaving behind forever the one who silently embraced her, fastened wings upon her so she could fly away, never to see him again. Her heart seemed tightly bound by steel wire, painfully ached, along with deep sorrow. She squeezed Jiang Fan's arm, tightly holding it against her chest, tears falling in showers. "Don't cry." Jiang Fan wiped her tears. Returned to Xingyuan Venerable's side. True Word Venerable couldn't control her emotions, cried aloud. "But I can't bear to leave you. I don't want to lose you, Jiang Fan." Jiang Fan was taken aback. This was True Word Venerable's first time revealing such emotions, right? She always seemed lofty and cold, though she'd sometimes call him husband. It always felt like her heart was empty. Jiang Fan smiled reassuringly. "Finally left a little place for me in your heart." "It wasn't easy, right?" True Word Venerable held Jiang Fan tight. She realized, like Fairy Yunshang, she inexorably fell for him. That unfamiliar heartache was the sign of it. Clang, clang. At this moment, the evil sword behind Jiang Fan started vibrating, seemingly furious. Chen Jing also sensed the change in True Word Venerable's emotional state. When the ethereal master declared, "Can't bear it," through tears, it meant she genuinely felt. And that was something Chen Jing could never attain. True Word Venerable, with tears still in her eyes, asked with a sobbing voice, "What is wrong with this sword?" She recalled last time on the battlefield when they embraced, this sword also acted oddly. Now, feeling emotional towards Jiang Fan, it stirred again. Jiang Fan hesitated for a moment, but still chose to speak candidly. "It's Chen Jing." Jiang Fan revealed the origin of him becoming an artifact spirit. The True Word Venerable's eyes showed a hint of complexity. No wonder this sword can't stand Jiang Fan, and even more so can't stand her being close to Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan apologetically said, "I'm sorry it troubled you." The True Word Venerable hugged Jiang Fan's arm tightly, squeezing her entire body into his embrace, like a little cat seeking warmth. She shook her head, her eyes devoid of sympathy. "He betrayed you twice, and his fall is deserved." If she had known earlier that Chen Jing was inside, she might have felt some reluctance from the bond between teacher and disciple. But now her heart was entirely filled with Jiang Fan. The familiar face and aura now felt anew, making her heart flutter. Remembering how Chen Jing's despicable betrayal almost caused Jiang Fan to die at the hands of Venerate Zinni and the two-star giant king, she felt an extreme hatred. Thinking of this, her heart stirred slightly. "You just said that this sword will enhance its quality due to Chen Jing's emotions," Jiang Fan said. "That's indeed the case. It's about to ascend to a quasi-realm artifact. However, I've experienced many big scenes and he has become used to it. Later, he barely had any emotions. Rising to a quasi-realm artifact seems far off." The True Word Venerable listened, pursed her red lips, and said, "Then what if I voluntarily give it to you?" "Huh?" Jiang Fan was startled. "Give what?" But when he saw her face blush slightly, his heartbeat quickened. "True Word, don't force yourself. Even without a quasi-realm artifact, I can fight tomorrow." The True Word Venerable's face flushed red, spreading to her ears, the shyness in her eyes almost congealed into water. Her voice carried a slight nervous tremor. "I am not forcing myself. I am now willing." The True Word Venerable never lies. Everything she says is what her heart truly feels. It's the first time Jiang Fan had seen the True Word Venerable like this. His heart beat faster. The evil sword began to tremble. A surge of anger communicated outward. The True Word Venerable awkwardly learned from Fairy Yunshang's usual gestures, extending her snowy arm around Jiang Fan's neck, tensely saying, "My body and heart, they belong to you. You don't want them?" Husband, the final husband, carried a hint of coyness, forming a stark contrast with the usual indifferent demeanor of the True Word Venerable. Fully igniting Jiang Fan's heart fire. He embraced the True Word Venerable's waist, flipping her beneath him, his gaze passionate. "I want them, of course." The True Word Venerable's eyes were filled with mist, her hands on Jiang Fan's shoulders, her voice trembling with nervousness. "Please, be gentle." Jiang Fan found it difficult to restrain his emotions. In the sound of ripping, clothes fluttered. Under the serene moonlight, two previously estranged souls merged completely in the piercing scream that shattered the heavens. And the long-dormant evil sword erupted in unprecedented tremors, emitting intense, thunderous sounds. Endless dark evil chi surged into the sky, enveloping the two and the rooftop. The evil sword continued to resonate, until the next day when the moon set and the sun rose, sunlight pierced through the dense evil chi. Jiang Fan gently covered the true word venerable with a dress, hiding her alluring body covered in strawberry marks. The true word venerable lay weakly in his arms, too tired to even speak, appearing tender and delicate. So this is what love feels like. No wonder Yun Shang and the others are obsessed with it. Though they had once realized their marriage, that was under Bai Luo's madness and was unfeeling. This time the two fully committed themselves, the feelings were completely different. I have decided that once I find father, I will try to bring him back. If he can't return, then I will come back to you. I have followed in Fairy Yun Shang's footsteps and can't leave you now. Jiang Fan's heart leapt for joy, and he kissed her face hard. Good, your husband will wait for your return. The true word venerable said, no rush, I'll leave after the campaign to the heavenly realm. Oh, quickly check if the evil sword's grade has improved. Jiang Fan suddenly remembered and hurriedly dressed. The two approached the nearby evil sword and saw that the tall evil sword was completely different from before. The previous evil sword had a very wide body, a crudely made broad sword. Now it was still a foot high, but the sword body was slender, smooth, like a willow branch. The sword body was also engraved with intricate and mysterious patterns. Strands of aura far surpassing the top-grade spiritual artifacts slowly emanated. The true word venerable showed a joyful expression. It's a quasi-realm artifact. It said that quasi-realm artifacts can partially ignore the laws of heaven and earth. Hopefully, this sword can assist my husband. Jiang Fan also showed joy. This was his first quasi-realm artifact, and it was elevated by his own ability. He focused his gaze and said, sword come. Buzz, amidst a pleasant hum, the evil sword fell into his palm. A chilling, cold sensation came, accompanied by faint power of laws wandering in his palm. Jiang Fan's mind moved. Small, whoosh, the evil sword instantly transformed into a foot in length. And this was the law of the quasi-boundary evil sword. Arbitrary size change? If paired with the evil sword's material, which can release evil chi and continuously cause damage effects. A sword strike would be exceptionally powerful. Looking at the little sword in his palm and the rising sun on the horizon, Jiang Fan's gaze was sharp and compelling. Today, a severance of grudges. Young Emperor, here I come. He held hands with the true word venerable and stepped out of the heavenly mechanism pavilion. Suddenly behind him, the wind sounded like a sword. Figures charged out from various secret chambers, following after. The heavenly mechanism pavilion master smiled. Those of the heavenly mechanism pavilion accompany Vice Pavilion Master Jiang on his appointment. Jiang Fan looked, familiar faces of the disciples, all gathered, following him to the young Emperor Mountain. A heroic spirit surged in his heart, and he shouted, Sword chi sweeps the 9 states, winds rise for 10,000 miles. Go! Ascend to heavenly state, slay the young emperor. Figures following him ascended into the clouds, going far away. 10,000 tribulations, holy temple. The heart demon venerable was cloaked in thunder, soaring into the clouds, pacing aloud. Starfear Venerable's life and death battle, how can the 10,000 tribulations holy temple stand by? All belonging to the 10,000 tribulations holy temple, follow me into heavenly state. White Horse Temple. Master Puguang led monks into the peaks of clouds. Amitabha, White Horse Temple monks are with Starfear Venerable. Sanking Mountain. Elder Feng stood in the air, rasping. Sanking Mountain strong, follow me. If Starfear Venerable fails, we will protect him with our blood. East Sea. Standing on the sea, the Yizhu demon emperor in a pink long dress looked into the distance, murmuring, Foster brother, good luck. South Sea. The old dream demon emperor stood on a shell, floating on the sea. The sea wind blew, pressing her black skirt tightly against her body, outlining her long, slender legs. Her hands clasped together at her chest, holding an ancient pendant, murmuring, I am willing to trade 100 years of my life for your safe return. May this vow be witnessed by the heavenly Tao. From the sky came a thunderous boom, an invisible will descended, turning the pendant in her hand into decay. There was indeed an unknown power that responded to her vow. The 3-god sect, the 7 great teachings, and over 50 sects, all were in commotion, rushing together toward the heavenly state. Jiang Fan arrived at the Kinshin Bureau. Bai Xin and the 6th-path master were already waiting in front of the state-level teleportation array that led to the heavenly state. Jiang, you can fight without worry. The 6th-path master patted his chest and said, Between you and me, I'm sure this old bag of bones will die first. I'm not dead yet, so no matter how dangerous it is, you shouldn't be afraid. Go all out and take down that arrogant young emperor. Jiang Fan silently patted him on the arm. Between him and the six-path master, who would die first, the heavenly mechanism elder did not specify. He only said that the heavenly listening bodhisattva would fall, and indeed the bodhisattva fell first. Sooner or later, the two of them would both face calamity. Bai Xin's clear eyes looked over. On her back was the mid-grade spirit sword, the Minxin sword, given by Jiang Fan. Paired with her righteous divinity transformation domain, the Minxin sword, full of righteousness, seemed tailor-made for her. "Be careful," Bai Xin said with brief words. A slight fluctuation emerged in her usually emotionless eyes. Jiang Fan nodded slightly with a faint smile. "I will, Miss Bai." Under their gaze, Jiang Fan stepped into the transmission hall. On the other end of the array was the heavenly state. At this moment, the young emperor was probably also watching the Kinshin Bureau, waiting for Jiang Fan to arrive. Just as he was about to activate the state-level teleportation array, the array lit up first, and a beautiful woman in a long black dress hurriedly teleported in. Fanner, foster mother, almost returned late. She took out a large handful of jade talismans, engraved with different venerables' domains, including those of familiar venerables like Wan Bing Venerate and Ice Heart Venerate, as well as many unknown venerables' domains. They were distributed across the central Earth 9 provinces and might not be familiar with Lianjing Venerable. Lianjing Venerable requested them all, only she knew how difficult it was. Take all these domain jade talismans, and these protective magical treasures as well. Make sure you use them generously. She took out several talismans, array flags, and protective armor obtained from who knows where. They were all rare protective treasures, gathered from different sources. Heaven knows what she paid to persuade them to give these away. Jiang Fan couldn't hold them all with 2 hands, needing to cradle them in his arms. The weight in his hands pressed into his heart. The one he was about to fight was her biological son, yet she ran around so much for him. There are not many people in the world doing good for others without interests involved. Lianjing Venerable counts as one. "Foster mother, I'll be fine." Jiang Fan's voice was slightly hoarse, his heart complicated. If he was fine, it meant the young emperor was not. One of them dying would sadden Lianjing Venerable. At this moment, the teleportation array trembled again, and a refined male figure appeared. It was the Jiangshan first-class building owner. His gaze swept over, unexpectedly seeing Lianjing Venerable, causing his step out of the array to halt noticeably. Gathering his thoughts, he pretended nothing had happened and said, "Kid, just in time." "Here." He opened his palm, revealing a fist-sized cluster tangled with various laws. Counting the Jiangshan first-class building owners, it was a total from over a dozen sages. This was essentially a collection of all the sage powers from the entire one Calamity realm, sufficient to activate the orange gourd once and capture any divinity transformation realm venerable. Jiang Fan said, "Thank you, owner, unnamed senior." He glanced at Lianjing Venerable, quickly changing his words. He poured these valuable powers of laws into the Tai Chu prison sky gourd. Soon, the orange area brightened up. With it, it was a life-saving trump card. But what was the young emperor's real name, though Lianjing Venerable once called him Fenger? What is his surname? He looked at Lianjing Venerable. He couldn't just ask her, could he? After pondering for a moment, he put away the gourd, cupped his hands, and said, "I'll be off." Lianjing Venerable's eyes were full of worry. Although she gave Jiang Fan so many enchanted items, she still felt uneasy. Is there no one to stop them? Lianjing Venerable's gaze drifted resentfully toward the main island of the Kinshin Bureau. Since the day the young emperor issued the challenge, 10 full days had passed. The Great Wine Sacrifice hadn't stepped out to mediate. Did they want to see 2 of the most outstanding young talents in Central Earth kill each other? A light sigh came from the main island. Soon after, the Taikang State Great Wine Sacrifice appeared in front of her, holding a horsetail whisk, transforming from virtual to real. He looked helpless. How to stop it? "Madam, have you forgotten how the ancient giant war was won on the heavenly state battlefield back then?" Lianjing Venerable's face darkened, her heart heavier with bitterness. The Jiangshan first-class building owner also sighed. "If it could be stopped, I would have stopped it long ago. But the young emperor has a world-destroying killing device. He fears no sage, and no persuasion would work." Recalling the information he had gathered about the young emperor, the Jiangshan first-class building owner still feels astonished to this day. On the day of the ancient giant war, when the Dark Shura clan retreated en masse, the heavenly state's experts pursued victoriously. But no one expected that the Dark 9 Prison's Usura Emperor of the heavenly realm was hiding in the connecting sky black pillar. He launched a massive destructive attack on the caught-off-guard heavenly state experts. He was the 9 prisons Usura Emperor, an invincible existence below the saint. That strike was enough to crush the pursuing heavenly state experts, including Buddha Venerate, Thunder Annihilation Sage, Cold Moon Sage, and hundreds of Divinity Transformation Realm and thousands of nascent soul experts. In front of the destructive strike, the young emperor made his move. He stepped forward alone, at the cost of severe injuries, and activated a world-destroying treasure on him. Not only did he save the heavenly state from destruction, but also wounded and repelled the 9 prisons Usura Emperor. This is why his ranking on the Merit Monument is higher than Xingyuan Venerable. Because he single-handedly saved the most prosperous heavenly state of Central Earth, rescuing more than half of Central Earth's combat power. And this piece of information, the Jiangshan first-class building owner dared not tell Jiang Fan, fearing it would damage his heart and make him lose the will to fight on the spot. Precisely because of this treasure, the young emperor doesn't care about any sage's persuasion from Central Earth. Lianjing Venerable looks worried. Jiang Fan will die. Fenger's strength after this awakening is far deeper than you imagine. The Taikang State Great Wine Sacrifice furrowed his brows. As long as he isn't utterly obliterated on the spot, we'll find a way to protect Jiang Fan. The one who ranks first of the 9 steels should not be lost like this. Heavenly State, young Emperor Mountain. Thunder Annihilation Sage watched silently towards the direction of the Kinshin Bureau, arms crossed before his chest, a helplessness reflected in his eyes. Young Emperor, why must you fight Jiang Fan to the death? If it's for the 5 elements Divine Monarch's merit, I can beg him not to compete with you for it. On the Thunderbolt condensed throne, the young emperor sat cross-legged, and upon hearing this, his eyes suddenly opened, and 2 streaks of thunderbolts sparked. Does this young emperor need charity for what he wants? Thunder Annihilation Sage sighed helplessly. The young emperor's personality is just like that. Even 10 oxen couldn't pull him back. But in your life-and-death battle, the most injured will be Lianjing Venerable. The thunder power in the young emperor's eyes surged more furiously, and he said coldly, "That troublesome woman, it would be best if she disappeared early. If she dares to interfere, I'll kill her too." Then he closed his eyes again. As the thunder light in his eyes faded, the surrounding light dimmed, hiding his figure in the darkness of the hall. Moon Palace. Silver Moon Venerate clenched his fist, his gaze flickering between the transmission array of the Kinshin Bureau and the distant young Emperor Mountain. It had been 4 days since Moon Venerate was captured. He hadn't rested for a moment, his mind constantly replaying the scene of Moon Venerate being held by Jiang Fan and taken back to Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Each time made his heart feel like it was being pierced by needles, causing unbearable pain. He desperately wanted to know if Moon Venerate had been violated by Jiang Fan in these few days. Luckily, his moment of agony was over. Today is the day of Jiang Fan's decisive battle with the young emperor. He hoped for Jiang Fan's death, that he would be torn to pieces, body and soul both destroyed. That way Moon Venerate would return to his side. "Jiang Fan, let's see how you die." Silver Moon Venerate clenched his fist. The Moon Palace Master also wore a worried expression. "I hope Jiang Fan's strength can hold out until the sages come to the rescue." At present, in Central Earth, no sage wished to see Jiang Fan perish. If he were in danger, there would be sages stepping in for him. The problem is, the current young emperor is terrifyingly powerful beyond compare. Will he give the sages of Central Earth a chance to rescue him? Meanwhile, the Medicine God Hall and the Buddha country both sighed. 2 tigers cannot share one mountain. These are the most dazzling prodigies of Central Earth, existing in the same era. Collision is inevitable. Whichever one falls, it will cast a shadow on Central Earth. At the same time, outside the realm, strong figures from the 100 realms of all heavens arrived one after another at the barriers of Central Earth, overlooking the vastness of heavenly state. Oh, coming early doesn't compare to coming just in time. The young emperor of Central Earth is having a life-and-death battle with the ancient #1 Jiang Fan, a female sage with the ability to eavesdrop on the entire multitude of realms smiled faintly. Upon hearing this, the sages from all realms' eyes slightly fluctuated. A battle of the Divinity Transformation realm naturally held no interest for them. But if it involved the illustrious young emperor and Jiang Fan, recently renowned across the 100 realms, that added a layer of intrigue. Hopefully Jiang Fan wins. If he dies, who will we buy the peace monument from? Win? Haven't you heard the rumors about that young emperor? I've only heard that his strength is comparable to young Master Xiang, Yun Wangxiao, and Liubian Wild, all existences invincible below sage level. Isn't that typical? Seems you haven't heard those rumors then. It said that when the young emperor was born, he already mastered a thread of the Thunder Dao Law. Mastered at birth? How is that possible? The power of laws, how could an infant's body withstand it? It's not impossible. I've also heard that Heavenly Patrol Sage at the source of evil by chance obtained a drop of Thunder God's blood. If he infused it into a fetus nurtured from a young age, such an infant could be born. The experts in all realms were startled. Thunder God's blood, does a god truly exist in this world? At this moment a cloud of mist rolled in, revealing the shadow of a giant beast looming within. With a chuckle it said, "Thought it was some rumor, just old wagging tongues." Heavenly Patrol Sage using Thunder God's blood to cultivate a baby. Hasn't been just these few years. He's been attempting it for centuries, experimented on at least tens of thousands of embryos. Other embryos and mothers couldn't bear it and died on the spot. Only a woman named Lianjing in Central Earth withstood a trace of Thunder God's blood and successfully gave birth to the young emperor. However, mere mortals coveting divine blood, they won't live long unless they quickly improve their realm to withstand divine blood. Upon hearing this, the crowd was astonished. Heavenly Patrol Sage, truly ruthless. Though to a sage, mere mortals are like ants. Experimenting on tens of thousands of embryos is excessively cruel. Killing 10,000 lives is nothing more than a sage's rage. But torturing 10,000 lives is an entirely different matter. Central Earth is truly a treacherous place. Every so often it produces a truly ruthless person. In every sense of the word, ruthless. In the crowd. Amidst clouds of holy light, Yun Wangxiao's face, normally scholarly, twisted into a menacing demon-like visage. The murderous intent was undisguisedly released. "Jiang Fan, it's best if you die at the hands of the young emperor. Otherwise, in my hands, your fate would be worse." Heavenly state. White clouds stretched leisurely, the wind running happily. The sky was a brilliant blue, the sunlight beautiful and bright. However, centered around the Qinshan Bureau, the world was plunged into slaughterous tension. Countless gazes converged on the Qinshan Bureau, focused on that small island linking to Taikang State. The two strongest cultivators of divinity transformation realm in Central Earth were about to meet in a life-and-death duel, one being the awe-inspiring young emperor, the other the prominent Jiang Fan. This dual pillar of Central Earth, who is the true king, who is the real #1 divinity transformation of Central Earth? The answer is about to be revealed. Buzz. A spatial tremor emanated from the island. The state-level teleportation array was activated. From Taikang State, someone was arriving. Countless experts soared into the sky, their sharp gazes focused on the transmission hall on the island. Reflected in their pupils, a black-clothed youth slowly stepped out, hands behind his back. He has arrived. Jiang Fan has arrived. He wore a white jade crown with long black hair cascading neatly down his back. His bright eyes emitted a serene and composed radiance. The gentle breeze rustled his clothing, lifted a strand of his hair, yet could not stir a flicker of emotion in his eyes. An aura of unchanging calm like Mount Tai collapsing exuded from him. This was a poise forged through battles with ancient giants and the Hell Realm, honed through trial after trial. He walked on air, step by step ascending the skies of heavenly state, standing at the most prosperous center of Central Earth, bearing the attention of the entire heavenly state. No, the entire Central Earth's experts. Because, from Qinshan Bureau's island, boundless spatial fluctuations continuously erupted. The sages of 9 states, of divinity transformation realm, and nascent soul experts surged forth like a tide. They all wished to witness together Central Earth's strongest divinity transformation battle, under the watchful eyes of all present. Jiang Fan lifted his eyes toward the distant, floating, celestial hall backed by sun, moon, and stars. His gaze pierced into the hall, resonating clearly, spreading far and wide. "Jiang Fan from Taikang State, here to fulfill the duel as promised. Young Emperor, come forth and meet your end." This was the voice of a king. Resolute and firm, it echoed in the endless sky, persistent and enduring. Heaven and earth grew silent, all sounds ceased to exist. Even the wind stopped abruptly. The entire world seemed frozen in time, pairs of eyes collectively focused on young Emperor Mountain, gathered on that cloud-enshrouded hall the young emperor had guarded for 18 years. They were waiting for the response of another king. Bang! Around the young Emperor Mountain, lightning suddenly flashed and thunder roared. Lightning of various colors burst out from the young Emperor Mountain. Initially, there were 10 streaks. A moment later, there were 100, and after 3 breaths, there were thousands and tens of thousands. In the blink of an eye, the young Emperor Mountain seemed like the source of 10,000 thunders, spewing endless lightning and coloring the heavens and earth of the heavenly state in a myriad of colors. It seemed as though an unworldly thunder god guarded the deep young Emperor Mountain. And a cold, domineering voice that disregarded everything slowly echoed from the young Emperor Mountain. "You have finally come before me, Jiang Fan of Taikang." The cause and effect between them were tied when Jiang Fan was cultivating the void flow thunder force at the boundary mountain. At that time, Jiang Fan was still a core formation realm cultivator. Now, having defeated the Golden Scale Venerate, he stands before the young Emperor. During this time, the young Emperor ordered Venerate Zinni to kill him, sent 2 divinity transformation realm masters from the young Emperor Mountain to ambush him at the vast sea, and personally hunted him. But none succeeded. Now Jiang Fan has shattered all obstacles and become a worthy opponent of equal strength. An intertwining of destiny leaps off the page. Jiang Fan slowly raised his hand, and a meridian filled with lightning appeared within his body. It was the Void Flow Thunder Force. Void Flow Thunder Force is the cause of everything. Today, let it be the effect. Strike, and let's sever the cause and effect between us today. In response to Jiang Fan's Void Flow Thunder Force, a likewise perfected power of Void Flow Thunder Force was emitted from the young Emperor Mountain. 2 individuals who had cultivated Void Flow Thunder Force to perfection were to fight to the death. From the young Emperor Mountain, the cold voice of the young Emperor sounded. "As you wish." Boom! The lightning from the young Emperor Mountain exploded, then condensed into a solid thunder figure. The figure was identical in size and appearance to the young Emperor. He disdained to make a move personally, choosing to battle Jiang Fan with thunder power. "Let me see how this ant of yours has grown now." The young Emperor's thunder body approached with hands clasped behind, space cracking inch by inch, revealing spiderweb-like void rifts. This was already the level of a great venerate. His footsteps grew faster, soon turning into an afterimage, finally moving like instantaneous movement. In the blink of an eye, he was before Jiang Fan. The terrifying thunder power of the thunder body erupted like a volcanic blast, scorching the surrounding world with dense black cracks. Any casual strike was at the great venerable level. The Golden Scale Venerate, Wanbing Venerate, Ice Heart Venerate, Star Mountain Master were all shocked. This strike required all their strength to block, with no room for carelessness. What about Jiang Fan? Could he exhibit the combined strength right from the start to resist? Whether it was the divinity transformation realm cultivators, or the sages watching silently from the clouds, all eyes were firmly on Jiang Fan, afraid to look away for even a moment. And Jiang Fan moved too. He was surrounded by the wind origin, perceiving the trajectory of surrounding things, with the instantaneous movement of the thunder body within his grasp. He was calm and composed, with a strange flame swirling in his raised palm. It was a black and white fused flame, with one cluster shaped like a little angel's holy fire, and the other like a little Xiu Luo's yin fire. The two merged into one, exploding with terrifying high temperatures that could destroy the heavenly person for declines. But as a crimson meridian, like flowing magma, appeared within Jiang Fan's body, the power of the flame surged again. It was clearly enhanced by the void flow fire force, resulting in a qualitative change in flame power. Jiang Fan pushed his palm forward, meeting the colliding thunder body head-on, and the yin and saint dual flames erupted, burning all released thunder arcs into void. Simultaneously, the thunder body was also enveloped in yin-yang dual flames. The thunder body exploded, and the yin-saint flames surged. 2 forces capable of slaying great venerates clashed fiercely. Eventually, with a resounding boom, the thunder body shattered into streaks of thunder arcs, while the yin-saint flames also burst apart. The thunder arcs swiftly returned to the young Emperor Mountain, and the yin-saint flames retracted into Jiang Fan's palm. No one triumphed in their confrontation. Among the fire worship sect disciples, Kyan Lan very excitedly exclaimed, "That's the Kyan Lan true fire technique I passed down to him. It's what I taught him. Oh my God, he has actually cultivated it to a level capable of countering the heavenly human 5 declines." Everyone was utterly shocked. The battle between the Silver Moon Venerate and Jiang Fan led people to mistakenly believe that his strongest technique was the combined power, temporarily transforming into a great venerate. But unexpectedly, besides that, there was such a terrifying fire Dao divine power. Heh 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 heh. From within the young emperor mountain came the young emperor's laughter. To survive under my thunder power indeed shows the potential of a great venerate. Thus, it is deserving of me, the young emperor, to personally make a move. As his words fell, the young Emperor Mounton trembled. From the magnificent hall, backed by sun, moon, and stars, slowly stepped out a youth whose robes were made of lightning, with wild, dancing black hair, and eyes filled with disdain, like a thunder god overlooking the earthly domain. He emerged from the dark hall. Thunder in the world seemed to salute its master, gathering around and forming steps under his feet, leading directly to Jiang Fan. This maneuver secretly stunned the great venerates. Is this really thunder Dao divine power? It should fall under the realm of laws, right? Hiss. The sages in the clouds couldn't help but take a deep breath, their bodies gradually tensing. The young emperor was set to personally make a move. A thunder body condensed of thunder power had such force. What destruction would the original form bring? Sparing nothing in its wake, could they even rescue Jiang Fan in time? The young emperor, hands behind him, grew colder in expression, raising his index finger and saying lightly, "As a reward for making it before me, with this finger I grant you death." Once spoken, he pointed at Jiang Fan across the vast sky. Die all at once. A pure white bolt of lightning without any impurities, nor a sound, shot towards Jiang Fan. The sages in the clouds shrank their pupils, unable to hold back the urge to act. Because this white lightning, compressed from myriad thunderbolts, was the purest power of destruction. Even a heavenly human 5 declines would be instantly detonated if even brushed. Yet Jiang Fan's expression remained unchanged, as he clasped his hands and calmly said, "Unified 6 parts!" Heavenly abyss heart quaked. 9-colored tribulation thunder surged forth, centering on him, forming 100 jang tall thunder Jiang Fan. The aura of heavenly human 5 declines erupted. The young emperor spoke coldly, "The technique that won against the silver moon venerate." "Indeed, but it cannot withstand my finger." Jiang Fan was impassive and calmly replied, "Who said it's limited to that?" Within him, void flow thunder force ignited. Since void flow thunder force can enhance any part of the heavenly thunder 6 parts, then the unified 6 parts can also be enhanced. Crack. Void flow thunder force exploded and flowed throughout. The giant 9-colored thunder body emitted an intensely hot array of 9-colored light. Almost simultaneously, the white lightning pierced the void, leaving a terrifyingly long black void rift, shooting forward. Jiang Fan raised his hand, using the palm to block the white lightning. The tremendous explosive force shook Jiang Fan's arm back, but soon, Jiang Fan exerted force, tightly gripping with 5 fingers. With a puff, the white lightning was clenched by a palm, transforming into thousands of thunderbolts, suddenly exploding. In an instant, heaven and earth were illuminated, flickering as if it were the end of the world. Jiang Fan's 9-colored thunder body remained steadfast amidst the fluctuating brilliance of myriad thunders, the massive shadow light and dark, like a thunder god. The same flickering light shone on everyone's face, illuminating expressions of shock. Binkson Venerate covered her mouth lightly, but still couldn't hide the scream inside. He can catch it with bare hands. What realm is Jiang Fan now with the Heavenly Thunder 6 Department's unification? Golden Scale Venerate also gasped, exclaiming in awe, "There's absolutely no problem in fighting you." The Venerates were deeply shocked. The strike they dared not receive themselves, Jiang Fan smashed with his bare hand. The young emperor's dismissive gaze finally showed a ripple. "To think you could face my finger head-on, I underestimated you." With a wave, Jiang Fan swept away the exploding thunderbolts, restoring clarity to heaven and earth. Feeling the clear power boost in the Heavenly Thunder 6 departments after the Void Flow Thunder Force enhancement, Jiang Fan clenched his 5 fingers, speaking coldly. "Surprised, aren't you? You only know to compete with me for the Void Flow Thunder Force, unaware it can elevate Thunder Dao divine power. The Void Flow Thunder Force in your hands degrades the 5 elements Divine Monarch's legacy." Jiang Fan and the young emperor cultivated the Void Flow Thunder Force for different purposes. Jiang Fan, having nothing, tried to tap every utility of the Void Flow Thunder Force. The young emperor, having the world in his grasp, sees the Void Flow Thunder Force merely as a tool to dominate the 5 elements Divine Monarch's merit. How could he cherish it? Hee ha ha ha. The young emperor laughed, hands behind his back as he laughed at the sky. Interesting. Being reprimanded face to face by a peer, what a day. But is the mere divinity transformation realm legacy of the five elements divine monarch worthy of my serious cultivation? You know nothing about me? Sizzle. In the next instant, his entire body burst forth with terrifying pale thunder light. His eyes, nostrils, mouth, hair, every strand of his body exploded with fearsome pale thunder light, illuminating 100 yards around. From afar, he appeared like a giant of pale thunder light, as tall as the heavenly thunder 6 departments. Its posture and features were identical to the young emperor. 200-yard thunder giants, one with a body colored in 9 hues, mysterious and majestic, the other entirely pale, looking down upon all. The young emperor's gaze chilled, instantaneously transforming into a giant of white thunder, his terrifying thunder punch wind roaring forth. Activating the wind origin, Jiang Fan tracked his trajectory, raising the dual fists of 9-colored thunderbolt to counter. Boom and crack. Amidst a deafening thunder explosion, both were forced back. The young emperor sneered. "You dare compete with me?" Immediately transforming into a remnant shadow, he instantaneously attacked again. Jiang Fan remained fearless, shouting, "Young emperor, is this all you have?" His body of 9-colored thunderbolt also instantaneously shot forth. The mighty thunder giant shadows vanished from everyone's sight. But soon, terrifying rumblings erupted high above the sky. Vast sheets of 9-colored tribulation thunder and pale thunder light poured down like raindrops, and when gazed upon, the visible sky appeared like a soon-to-shatter porcelain, crisscrossed with countless black fractures. As the two thunder giants collided, they would appear, for a moment engaging in ephemeral combat again. The fierce thunder collision crushed everything nearby, with vast thunder light constantly shedding from both, akin to pouring rain folded 1,000 times between heaven and earth. All the land of the heavenly state was covered under the terrifying pressure of the two forces. Every formidable person was utterly speechless, watching the dazzling yet suffocating scene before them, hearts skipping. No one would have thought that Jiang Fan could be this strong. Even less would anyone have imagined a peer of young strongmen battling the young emperor to such an impasse. Beyond the sky, numerous sage realm entities from various worlds watched on, nodding frequently. The young emperor indeed merits his fame, alongside young Master Xiang, Yun Wangxiao, and others. This level of combat prowess is truly extraordinary, but I believe the truly extraordinary one is Jiang Fan. To think he could fight the young emperor to such a degree, inconceivable, considering the young emperor has long been famous, while Jiang Fan is a recent emergence. Given time, he will surely become a young sage. Humph, have you forgotten that the young emperor has not truly fought seriously? Yun Wangxiao coldly retorted. A person wielding a divine bloodline with strength only at this level is deeply disappointing. In the heavenly state, following an intense boom from the sky, the 9-colored thunderbolt giant and pale thunder light giant retreated from each other. Both bore somewhat dim auras. Jiang Fan stood unwavering, his entire body surging with thunder light, saying, "Heavenly state's young emperor, is this all?" The young emperor fixed his gaze on Jiang Fan and laughed uproariously. "Ha ha ha, amusing. Since my path began, peers have been like ants, rarely capable of enduring my 3 strikes. You're the first to compete with me this long, and in the realm where I'm most adept in the Thunder Dao domain. I admit, the 5 elements divine monarchs, void flow 5 forces has some merit. But still, before me, it's insignificant." He inhaled deeply, his expression murderous, unabashed, killing intent rolling forth. "I've had enough fun, time to end it. Before your 6 departments unification fades, when you're at your strongest, it's time to cut you down in the Thunder Dao." He raised his hand high. An ancient aura faintly resonated within, as if some unnamed being presiding over ancient times and mastering the supreme laws of heaven and earth was awakening. The world trembled from the leaking aura. The surrounding space could no longer bear it, all collapsing, revealing vast patches of void. The power of nothingness, devouring all things, swept forth, taking all the surrounding atmosphere. Yet it passed over the young emperor without moving him an inch. He was like a stabilizing pillar, unaffected by the power of nothingness. As heaven and earth intensely quaked, the sky abruptly darkened, myriad thunder dragons converged within dark clouds, forming a single thunder eye. Chains of thunder, if indistinct, fell from the thunder eye, amassing into a thunder sword woven from chains in the young emperor's grip. Chains symbolize order, and laws are part of order. The young emperor activated the thunder god bloodline, invoking Thunder Dao law. In the sky, the sages of Central Earth could sit still no longer. Heavenly State's great wine sacrifice declared, "Time to act." This strike has transcended the scope of the divinity transformation realm. Jiangshan first-class building owner and heavenly craft sage became extremely solemn. The Law Thunder Sword could already harm them as sages, let alone Jiang Fan. Taikang State's great wine sacrifice nodded with a wave of his horsetail whisk preparing to intervene. Yet Jiang Fan remained fearless, saying, "It is indeed time to end it, young emperor." "Sword, come," a pleasant humming echoed, and a 3-foot evil sword came to hand. Sinister dark energy surged wildly, forming a 100-yard-long sword aura. The young emperor scoffed. "Quasi-realm artifact? Still not enough. Summon your strongest magic artifact. You have only one chance left." Jiang Fan's eyes burned with anger, his body alight with both Void Flow Thunder Force and Void Flow Fire Force, speaking coldly. "To kill you, the legacy of the 5 elements Divine Monarch suffices. Void Flow Thunder Force, Void Flow Fire Force. Open." He opened his mouth and spat. 2 streams of power sprayed onto the evil sword. Void flow power of thunder and fire fused together, birthing an all-new power that burned through space and melted the world's barrier. Void flow thunder fire. The evil sword was wrapped in void flow thunder fire, like a burning warblade, radiating the might of annihilation. Jiang Fan gave a nice sword move. With the sharpness of the quasi-realm artifact plus the might of void flow thunder fire, he actually sliced open the world's barrier as if cutting tofu. In the firmament on the earth beyond the realm, exclamations rang out in unison. Because to cleave open the world's barrier was something only a sage could do. The power of this sword actually reached the level of a sage. 6 parts united, plus a quasi-realm artifact, plus the void flowing 2 forces, had exploded with a terrifying might none had ever imagined. The ancient name of the 5 elements Divine Monarch fiercely shook everyone's heart. A void flow 5 forces, created by someone in the divinity transformation realm, was actually this terrifying. The young emperor's pupils constricted, yet an excited smile appeared on his face. "He, good, good. Only this is worthy of being a great enemy for me, the young emperor, to kill with my own hands. Take Jiang Fan, take your death." The Law Thunder sword raised high in his hand came crashing down in a cleaving strike. Jiang Fan gripped the evil sword with both hands, his eyes burning with fury. "Young emperor of the heavenly state, go to hell." From the day he started cultivating void-flowing thunder force, the young emperor had been a blade hanging over his head, leaving him restless day and night, to the point he didn't dare cultivate void-flowing thunder force and set it aside. That sense of oppression had tormented him for far, far too long. Later, it was again the young emperor who sent Venerate Zinni to travel far to Taikang State to hunt him down. For that, he hid east and fled west, dodging Venerate Zinni's pursuit again and again. In the end, Venerate Zinni died to save Jiang Fan. If not for the young emperor, Venerate Zinni wouldn't have come to Taikang State and wouldn't have died. At the root of everything was the young emperor. Thinking of this, killing intent condensed in his eyes. Gripping the evil sword, he shouted, "Enlarge!" The evil sword instantly swelled 100-fold, turning into a 100-jang-long sword, burning with thunder and fire as it hacked down. Between them this should end. Heaven and earth within and beyond, every heart abruptly tightened. In this dual sage-level lethal clash, who would live and who would die was hard to say. Maybe Jiang Fan would die beneath the Law Thunder sword, maybe the young emperor would be cut down by the evil sword. In any case, of this pair of twin pillars of Central Earth, one was fated to die. But, at the instant both sides brought their swords down, Jiang Fan's chest suddenly grew hot. It was actually a jade talisman of Lianjing Venerable's domain, activating on its own, and then a vast space power pushed the two of them away in opposite directions. At the same time, a beautiful woman in a long black dress appeared right at the center of their clash. Tears were already streaming down her face like rain. Looking at the two falling exterminating attacks, she revealed a tragic expression. Jiang Fan's pupils shrank violently. "Godmother!" At a moment like this, standing in the middle of their decisive battle, she would be blasted into dust, body and soul destroyed. Lianjing Venerable looked at Jiang Fan through tears, then glanced at the young emperor and gave a bitter smile. "I can't bear to watch you killing each other. Fenger, your mother will trade her own life for one of Jiang Fan's. I hope you spare him." So she had long made ready to sacrifice herself. This was all she could do. Rumble, the two of them had already unleashed their strikes. The terrifying might swallowed her voice and figure whole. At the last instant, Jiang Fan twisted his sword edge, hacking down past her side, carving a void rift hundreds of zhang long through heaven and earth. But the young emperor did not pull back. He didn't have the slightest mercy, only coldness and disgust. Useless trash, all you ever do is drag me down. Whoever blocks me dies, you and Jiang Fan can die together. The law thunder sword in his hand fell mercilessly. The frightening chain spewed power of laws that destroyed all things, instantly swallowing Xianxia Venerable, making her vanish into a long void rift. Jiang Fan stood frozen where he was, staring at the now utterly vanished figure of Xianxia Venerable. His mind roared into a blank. Godmother is dead. She couldn't bear to see either Jiang Fan or the young emperor die, so she chose to use her own death to halt the two's great battle. This godmother who had truly treated him as her own child was dead, and she had died beneath the sword of her own son, the young emperor. She so clearly cherished the young emperor, running about everywhere, seeking merit for him to assault the virtuous realm. Why could the young emperor bear to kill her? Why? Jiang Fan's hands gripping the evil sword trembled uncontrollably. The wail in his heart turned into erupting fury, as if it would burst his chest apart. "You beast!" Jiang Fan's eyes turned blood-red, surging with boundless killing intent. He had never truly harbored killing intent toward the young emperor, only a long-suppressed rage at being oppressed. But now he only wanted to kill the young emperor, to grind his bones to dust, to obliterate body and soul. "Die!" Jiang Fan roared, the evil sword in his hand swelling to 1,000 jang length, splitting the void as it hacked down savagely. The young emperor's lips curled in a cold smirk. "Finally, there's some peace and quiet. From now on, there will be no one nagging in my ear. Now it's time to send you on your way." Boom! The law thunder sword swept up, and the terrifying chain phantoms collided in midair with the evil sword wrapped in void flow thunder fire. Crack, a tremor like the breaking of the world's barrier, rang throughout the entire heavenly state. The heaven and earth with the two at its center were directly shaken into a vast void zone spanning 1,000 li. The heavenly state land under its shroud instantly crumbled apart under the devouring power of nothingness. Countless stretches of earth, buildings, and living beings were all sucked into the void. Screams of terror, cries, and angry shouts instantly filled heaven and earth. The world plunged into chaos. The great wine sacrifice and the virtuous of Central Earth all turned pale and decisively unleashed their laws, cutting off the power of nothingness, only then stabilizing the land and saving the masses. The beings who survived the calamity fled in terror toward the distance, their wails merging into one continuous sound. No one had expected that a clash between two in the divinity transformation realm would actually turn into a saint-level war, to the point of producing such devastating consequences. Not just them, even the flustered virtuous had not foreseen this. The battle between the two had already exceeded control. The terrifying thing was, their battle was still continuing. Two thunderbolt phantoms, one multicolored and one white, one black sword and one chain, two world-ending giant swords, fought from the skies above Central Earth all the way into the void. With each collision they erupted with surging sage might, shattering nearby meteorites and land masses into dust along the way. The virtuous watching from beyond the realm also revealed looks of shock. Jiang Yishan was sheltered beneath a virtuous elder. His face was full of disbelief. This is still a battle of the divinity transformation realm. Though they were both in the heavenly human 3 decline, he felt there was a sky-high chasm between himself and Jiang Fan. The virtuous of the poisonous world showed a look of amazement. Not truly sage-level, but infinitely close. Aside from the sage's imperial body of young Master Xiang, I can't think of any other great venerate among the 100 realms of all heavens who could display such combat power. The key is, Jiang Fan is only in the heavenly human 3 decline. When he reaches great venerate, won't he be? The other virtuous also showed deep astonishment. Before, we only knew the young emperor of Central Earth. From now on, the 100 realms of all heavens will have another Central Earth Jiang Fan. In other worlds, a peerless genius like this might not appear in centuries, yet Central Earth has produced a pair at once. Is Central Earth destined to rise? Yun Wangxiao secretly clenched his fist, murder intent surging in his eyes. That human clan lowlife who won first place in ancient hunting through schemes actually reached the height of young Master Xiang. Give him time, becoming a sage is no problem. No wonder Xianxia is infatuated with him, no wonder. Watching Jiang Fan and the young emperor in fierce combat, a shadow of gloom flashed in his eyes. He glanced at the Central Earth sages still rescuing all beings, decisively raised his hand, and summoned a long spear filled with holy power. Boom! The colossal shadow of 9-colored thunderbolt and the pale thunderbolt body collided fiercely in the void. both bursting with powerful murder intent. Between them, it was either you die or I live. Jiang Fan attacked at the cost of depletion, now only having one thought. Kill the young emperor! Kill the young emperor! But after several intense battles, his nine-colored tribulation thunder was almost depleted, unable to last much longer. When the time comes, he will fall into a disadvantaged position. With a thought, the execution pen appeared and he bit the pen tip. Continuing to fight with sword in hand, he arduously outlined the word death, however. Just as he was completely focused on dealing with the young emperor, a cold wave suddenly swept through him, making him shudder violently. It was a warning of danger. Someone was making a move against him, but he heard the surrounding sages shouting in anger. Yun Wangxiao, what are you trying to do? Stop right now. You actually launched a sneak attack, disgraceful. Yun Wangxiao's golden wings flapped, moving through the void like a fish in water. Other sages attempted to stop him, but in the void, they lacked instantaneous movement power and could only fly swiftly to intercept. But the angel race was born to fly. He effortlessly surpassed everyone, arriving at the battlefield as if through instantaneous movement. He launched a true sage's strike from behind Jiang Fan. His eyes filled with ferocity, he shouted, "Die, lowlife!" This strike came too suddenly, too insidiously, and too swiftly. Jiang Fan, engaged full-heartedly in a life-and-death battle with the young emperor, was completely unprepared. As the holy spear stabbed towards him, Jiang Fan only felt his body turn cold. This strike would shatter his body, even destroy his soul, leaving him utterly obliterated. But at this moment, the young emperor's eyes surged with murder intent, far more intense than during the life-and-death battle with Jiang Fan. Impudent, the Law Thunder Sword slashing at Jiang Fan was redirected to slash at the attacking Yun Wangxiao. Yun Wangxiao's expression changed, immediately withdrawing the spear, blocking above his head. The Thunder Sword struck the spear, igniting a series of laws. Yun Wangxiao raised his arm in a tremor, shaking off the Thunder Sword's laws, his face cold as he snorted. "I'm helping you kill Jiang Fan, why are you attacking me?" The young emperor dismissed. "Who do you think you are? The one I, the young emperor, want to kill. Is it your turn to sneak attack and help me? Get lost." Having survived a disaster, Jiang Fan's eyes also showed boundless murder intent. This beast, back during ancient hunting, once pretended to be good, then covertly plotted to kill Jiang Fan. But fortunately, he had KO's golden feather, prepared in advance, and prevented the plot. Now again during a life-and-death battle with the young emperor, shamelessly launching a sneak attack. "Kill you first!" Jiang Fan turned and slashed with a sword. The young emperor also showed murder intent in his eyes, scanning around coldly, snorted. "Meddling in my affairs, that's his end." Having said, once again gripped the Law Thunder Sword and slashed towards Yun Wangxiao. Yun Wangxiao's sneak attack not only failed, but also became a common enemy of both Jiang Fan and the young emperor, a case of attempting to steal a chicken and losing the rice used to lure it. Watching the two attack, his face cold. "Unappreciative. Just right, I, the newly ascended great angel, have yet to battle. I'll take you two Central Earth lowlifes to practice." He grasped the spear, various laws wrapped around the spear, granting it world-destroying power, far surpassing the Law Thunder Sword in the young emperor's hand. "Get lost!" The spear swept, simultaneously knocking away the Law Thunder Sword and evil sword that attacked. The young emperor's Law Thunder Sword disintegrated on the spot, while Jiang Fan's evil sword was knocked out of his hand. More terrifyingly, the remaining power of the spear did not diminish, directly penetrating the thunderbolt bodies of the two. Poof! With two muffled sounds, the 100-jang pale thunder body of the young emperor disintegrated, and Jiang Fan's already thin nine-colored thunder body finally couldn't withstand and dissipated. Yun Wangxiao sneered. "Two divinity transformation realms really think they are sages. No matter how powerful you are, ultimately you are below sages. Killing you is like slaughtering dogs." He locked onto Jiang Fan, eyes filled with murder intent. "Robbed my battle accolades in ancient hunting, took my woman in Central Earth. Who gave you the courage? Today I'll make you vanish into thin air." He raised the spear, hurling it fiercely towards Jiang Fan, with a whoosh. The void trembled violently, a vast aura of sage power, issuing a fatal strike toward Jiang Fan, inescapable. Jiang Fan couldn't even use wind origin to capture the spear's trajectory, only feeling death enveloping him. But at this moment, a 1,000-jang long, immensely solid, awe-inspiring Law Thunder Sword came slashing down. The void trembled fiercely, the hurled spear was precisely struck, letting out a mournful cry, igniting strands of law chains. Yet under the newfound Law Thunder Sword, it was crushed like bubbles. The spear completely exposed under the Law Thunder Sword, crunched, splitting open on the spot. Connected in heart-spirit, Yun Wangxiao uncontrollably spewed a mouthful of blood, colorful only when drifting to a distance. Yun Wangxiao looked in shock at this awe-inspiring Law Thunder Sword. How is this possible? Previously thinking that the battle was already the young emperor's peak strength. Unexpectedly, he hadn't used his full force at all. At this moment, the young emperor, hair dancing wildly, eyes imperious, exuding boundless dominance over the world. Mere new great angel, dare to be rampant before me, the young emperor. The sages fixed their gaze, only realizing now that the young emperor's body surface was tense with golden meridians flowing throughout his body. Within the meridians, something ancient seemed to be flowing. Gulp, who subconsciously swallowed saliva, highlighting the inner shock. The previous young emperor only released a part of the Thunder God bloodline. Now, it was the true display of the Thunder God bloodline. With Heavenly Person 5 declines cultivation, overpowering the new sage. Jiang Fan could fight till now, all because the young emperor gave way. If the young emperor went all out earlier, what would Jiang Fan have to do at all? It truly is the Thunder God bloodline, not something a mundane person can challenge. Wait, what is this aura? Suddenly, an icy aura that made even sages shiver spread in the void. They looked to the source, seeing Jiang Fan holding a brush, writing the word death in the air. His face full of murder intent, the pen tip pressed on the word death, pushing towards Yun Wangxiao, shouting, "Go die, don't get in the way." The execution pen was first filled more than half with ink, and the word death, it wrote, was blood red and solid. An aura of heaven and earth laws emanated from the word death. It was as if this word was not written, but a life-taking talisman in King Yan's hand. As Jiang Fan's pen tip touched it, the word death swiftly moved towards Yun Wangxiao, growing larger from palm size to enveloping like a sky curtain in the blink of an eye. The Hell Realm's world artifact from 10,000 years ago, the execution pen, and it's already activated. He actually possesses such a killing device that even a saint could be obliterated by. He's also been holding back all along. Yun Wangxiao's face changed dramatically, exclaiming in a low voice, "You have such a killing device. Why didn't you say so earlier?" How could he dare to resist? The word death before him made him feel an icy chill over his entire body, hurriedly flapping his golden wings in an attempt to escape. But the word death was getting faster. Initially pushed, then like a curtain of instantaneous movement, Yun Wangxiao's self-proclaimed speed was nothing before the word death, which caught up with him in mere breaths. The enormous blood-red death word ruthlessly passed through his body, then gathered completely, converging within him. The sages present watched in horror. Yun Wangxiao let out a scream, and his golden wings began to turn black and decay. His snow-white skin also blackened and began to smell bad, his internal organs rotting into pus, oozing from the 7 orifices. His eyeballs were the first to burst, turning into black sludge and flying out. His entire body seemed to have decayed instantly, as if it had died countless years ago. The entire scene fell silent, sending chills down everyone's spine. A sage could not withstand a single blow from the presence. Fortunately, Yun Wangxiao was not an ordinary great angel in the heavenly realm. At a critical moment, a golden feather on his chest shattered, transforming into blinding holy light, which gradually forced the word death from his body. His rotten body slowly began to recover from the brink of destruction. But before he could fully recover, a black, slender, evil sword of 10,000 feet suddenly pierced through his chest. Jiang Fan's eyes were bloodshot as he roared, "Die!" With a powerful swing of his arms, amidst Yun Wangxiao's agonizing cries, the evil sword sliced diagonally out from his chest, nearly severing it in two. "Jiang Fan!" Yun Wangxiao screamed harshly in shock and anger. He never imagined that Jiang Fan would have the power to kill him. "With this level of strength, you dare to intervene in my young emperor's duel? Get lost!" On the other side, the young emperor sneered contemptuously, swinging the Law Thunder sword in his hand fiercely downward. Yun Wangxiao's face changed dramatically, exclaiming, "I don't care!" Yet the young emperor mercilessly struck down with a sword. Boom! Under the deafening thunder of the Law Thunder sword, Yun Wangxiao's barely recovered body exploded on the spot. Only a skeleton remained to shield a soul presence. Even Yun Wangxiao, an emerging great angel, was shattered by the combined might of Jiang Fan and the young emperor. Witnessing this, the surrounding sages gasped in disbelief, unable to believe the scene before them. These central earth fiends, are they still in the divinity transformation realm? In horror, Yun Wangxiao frantically flapped the wings that had decayed into bones, rapidly retreating. Trying to leave? Jiang Fan snorted coldly, the evil sword in his palm transforming again to 10,000 feet long, the sword tip still carrying a feeble void flow thunder fire, striking the skeleton fiercely. Bang! Yun Wangxiao's skeleton couldn't withstand it, shattered into fragments by a single strike. All that remained was Yun Wangxiao's soul, filled with poisonous resentment, fleeing as it vanished into the depths of the void, uttering venomous cries. Jiang Fan, for destroying my great angel's divine body, I will never coexist with you peacefully. Jiang Fan did not pursue but coldly surveyed the surrounding sages. Anyone else want to interfere? Step forward now. The sages around trembled and dispersed rapidly. Even the emerging great angel, Yun Wangxiao, was reduced to a remnant soul fleeing by the joint efforts of two men. Who dares intervene? Seeing no one step forward, Jiang Fan gripped the execution pen, his reddened eyes glaring at the young emperor fiercely, shouting, "Now it's your turn, beast! Die!" With pen in hand, he swiftly outlined the word death. The young emperor sneered arrogantly, "It's you who deserves to die. Let's see how many times your execution pen can be used." He raised his hand, the terrifying Law Thunder sword reappeared, swinging fiercely at Jiang Fan. But suddenly his body inexplicably shook. Then a trickle of blood seeped from his lips as the golden veins on his body grew brighter. His entire skin visible reddening, trickles of blood flowed from his 7 orifices, showing an undeniable expression of pain on his face, as if enduring immense pressure. Jiang Fan laughed up at the sky. "You can't hold on much longer either. Let's see who dies first." He raised the pen, swiftly scribbling a sinister death word, then pointed it out. The young emperor swallowed the blood in his throat, enduring the pain, declaring coldly, "Enough to kill you? Exterminate." With the continuous strengthening of the Thunder God bloodline, the Law Thunder sword in his hand grew more unpredictable in power. One sword strike, faintly resembling the might of 2 days from the giant emperor's blow. His strength remarkably hadn't yet reached its peak. A word death, a Law Thunder sword, clashed violently in the void. The Law Thunder sword quickly decayed upon touching the death word, while the sky curtain-like death word was sliced layer by the Law Thunder sword. With a sound of annihilation exploding, the death word shattered, impacting in all directions, while the Law Thunder sword also disintegrated, sweeping away everything. The surrounding sages' faces changed, shielding the younger ones beside them. "Hurry up, these two are insane." One's body is about to be crushed by the divine bloodline, and the other is draining his ink to fight to the death. Both are throwing their lives away. They fled to the distance and looked back in shock. The Law Thunder swords, each 1,000 feet long and blood-red death characters exploded again and again in the dark void. The destructive shockwaves turned the area within 1,000 miles into a forbidden land. Anyone entering the divinity transformation realm would be obliterated instantly. Even sages could be injured. This battle has completely surpassed the divinity transformation realm. However, just as they predicted, the two fighting desperately could not last long. In a thunderous roar, the Law Thunder sword at its peak split the weakened death character, slashing towards Jiang Fan. "It's over, ha-ha-ha." The young emperor laughed, blood spurting from his mouth. His trembling body was as red as if soaked in blood. Not just his 7 orifices, even his pores burst, blood flowing out incessantly. But nothing could hide the smile on his face. Betting on exploding his body with divine blood, he won. The Law Thunder sword instantly engulfed Jiang Fan. The execution pen in his hand was used repeatedly, and as the ink diminished, the power of the death character gradually weakened, while the young emperor's Law Thunder sword strengthened. Ultimately, Jiang Fan couldn't hold on until the end. A heavily cracked large bell appeared above his head, blocking most of the attack, but the remaining attack was still threatening his life. Thankfully, a dim golden feather appeared on his chest, given by Keoj previously. It emitted blazing light, resisting the remaining attack. As the feather was gradually consumed, it eventually could not completely resist, and with a puff, it transformed into dispersed golden holy light. Jiang Fan was struck by a final strand of Law Thunder. Pow! His body was pierced with a head-sized hole, and he spat blood and fell backward, lying powerlessly on the ground. Ha-ha-ha! Ha-ha-ha-ha-ha! The young emperor laughed, dragging incredibly heavy steps, staggering forward. His face was covered in blood, he laughed. "Fight with me, what do you have?" He raised his hand, gathering a Law Thunder sword to deliver the final blow to Jiang Fan. Bang, but his body couldn't bear it anymore. His arm exploded. He clenched his teeth, enduring the pain, and with the other hand grasped through the air, compressed thousands of thunderbolts into a long sword and wielded it. "To kill you, it's enough?" He staggered forward, leaving a trail of flowing blood, and reached Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan now, his body was torn and broken, skinless, and even his breath was rapidly diminishing. He was a dying man. The young emperor raised the thunder sword, snarled. "It's over, Jiang Fan." Jiang Fan couldn't move anymore, yet he was unwilling. Such a good godmother, his all-life sought-after mother, ruthlessly slain by the young emperor. Not killing the young emperor, he was not willing. Unwilling. He rekindled his fighting spirit, his eyes suddenly wide open, murderous intent flashing. With the last bit of spiritual power, he activated the space storage device, summoning a silhouette in complete black robes, wearing a #1 mask. "Poison body?" Jiang Fan growled lowly, and his soul instantly shifted to the poison body. The heavenly human 5 declines body, although lacking mana, was sufficient. He grasped with his palm, seizing the evil sword from his original body, and fiercely stabbed at the young emperor, roaring. "Die!" Plunge. No one expected it. Jiang Fan, at the brink of death, could still unleash a final blow, nor imagined he possessed a heavenly human 5 declines body, surpassing his original body's cultivation. The young emperor was caught off guard, pierced through the chest by the evil sword, intense evil aura, fierce toxin following the sword into him. His chest rapidly rotted, spreading to the body everywhere, the blood spouting from his mouth turning into black water flowing out. The young emperor's arm trembled, and he dropped the thunder sword he tightly held. Looking down at the evil sword in his chest, he laughed, his shoulders shook with laughter. "Heh heh, heh heh heh, it turned out to be like this, heh heh." Jiang Fan's eyes were blood red. "Go ask forgiveness from my godmother." His heart was mournful, tears flowing. His godmother was dead, her beloved son was about to die too. "Why has it come to this? Why?" The young emperor raised his hand, gripping the evil sword, gazing at Jiang Fan, and said, "Jiang Fan." As he spoke, a large amount of black water spurted out. "You're qualified." With that, he laughed with great joy, as if he let go of a burden and found release. Still laughing, Jiang Fan was filled with murderous intent, roaring, "Die!" But as he stabbed down with the sword, Jiang Fan's original body's forehead became extremely hot. A long-missing blood-red character, like blood-stained, unexpectedly emerged. The character Blood, that was imprinted by the chaotic ancient blood marquee on his forehead once. This character hasn't appeared for a long time. Its sudden appearance now can only mean one thing. The chaotic ancient blood marquee has arrived. Jiang Fan's heart trembled with shock. The chaotic ancient blood marquee, who almost killed him during his nascent soul tribulation from across another world, had actually arrived at this moment. In a moment of decision, Poison Body decisively abandoned the nearby young emperor, letting his soul return to his body. His void flow thunder force, physical power, and divinity transformation power were exhausted, but there was still one kind of power left to use, and that is domain. In the previous battle with the young emperor, every move was a battle of life and death, with no opportunity to deploy his domain. Now, the young emperor was more severely injured than him, leaving a gap to activate it. "Second domain, perfection!" Jiang Fan silently shouted in his heart. A domain surged out from the back of Jiang Fan's head, enveloping himself. The remaining consciousness and heavily injured body seemed to be soaked in life-spring water, rapidly recovering. As soon as Jiang Fan's body could move, he summoned the immortal king's undying bell to cover himself without a word. At the same time, the third domain was launched without hesitation. The function of this domain was to convert enemy attacks into his own power, serving as an indirect defense. Just achieving this, the pitch-black void suddenly turned blood-red. A blazing blood sun illuminated the void, expanding at an extraordinary speed. At close range, everyone realized this was not a blood sun at all, but a blood-colored long spear filled with destructive might. Its target was aimed directly at Jiang Fan. "It's the chaotic ancient blood marquee. He wants to kill Jiang Fan. Quick, save him. If he dies, who will trade with us for the peace monument?" The sages observing the battle were greatly alarmed, taking action in a panic. Yet from the depths of the void came a rough and extremely murderous will. "Those who block this marquee shall see their world destroyed." This will was conveyed to the ears of every sage, sending chills down their spines. This was the chaotic ancient blood marquee, a peak existence in the three calamities realm, invincible under the saints. And there were 6 others like him. They all came from an ancient era a millennium ago, known as the 7 heroes of ancient chaos. It is said that the seven of them once disrupted an era and reigned supreme in the chaotic eternity of time and space. Thus, they are called the seven heroes of ancient chaos. In a time when saints did not emerge, the combined strength of the seven could destroy most small to medium worlds. They are the seven most dreaded powerhouses in the 100 realms of all heavens. Wherever they went, endless slaughter often followed. The powerhouses from various realms came here to save their worlds from disaster 1,000 years later. How dare they invite a catastrophe in the present because of this? So, they hesitated. The blood spear traversed the void, carrying the might to destroy the world, while Jiang Fan, within the shattered immortal king's undying bell, felt no safety at all. Instead, he felt bone-chilling cold all over, the shadow of death becoming more intense, a sense of unprecedented mortal danger palpably pulsating. At this moment, he felt like a lone candle in the face of a storm, utterly powerless, unable to do anything but watch his life's flame extinguish. The last time he felt such a powerless and insignificant life-and-death crisis was when facing the evil crow Venerable. However, this time it was even more despairing than when facing the evil crow Venerable. Am I going to die here? A thought emerged in Jiang Fan's mind. But just then, from the direction of Central Earth, several figures rushed over at high speed. It was the 9 great wine sacrifices and the 9 nether demon venerable. The 9 great wine sacrifices had an excellent tacit understanding, simultaneously unleashing the power of laws. The power of laws among them could merge with each other, forming a giant sky-like circular ring to shield Jiang Fan. On the circle, countless mysterious patterns appeared intermittently, and chains of law were faintly visible. Boom, the blood spear shot over, causing the circular ring sky to tremble violently and tear open cracks, with strands of blood light shooting through the circular ring sky. Most were blocked by the 9 great wine sacrifices, but a small portion still shot towards the immortal king's undying bell. In an instant, the immortal king's undying bell issued a cracking sound. The immortal king's undying bell, densely webbed with cracks, couldn't withstand it, and a piece of material fell off, exposing a fist-sized gap. Jiang Fan's pupils contracted sharply. Is this the strike of a disaster realm sage in the 3 calamities realm? Just the residual might shattered a piece of a damaged world artifact. Looking at the blood light penetrating, Jiang Fan felt cold all over, as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. But in the critical moment, the shadow of a giant serpent suddenly coiled around the immortal king's undying bell, using its body to block the gap. The blood light struck the shadow, making it much more transparent, but ultimately it was blocked. The pervasive coldness, like ebbing tides, receded. Jiang Fan, drenched in cold sweat, let out a long breath. Outside the bell, the soft voice of the 9 nether demon venerable rang out. Leave the chaotic ancient blood marquis to you. I'll take him back to Central Earth. The 9 great wine sacrifices were still struggling to fend off the blood spear. The great wine sacrifice of Taikang State warned. Be careful. The 9 nether demon venerable pressed a palm against the immortal king's undying bell, swiftly darting towards Central Earth. Once they returned to the Central Earth world, the chaotic ancient blood marquis would not dare invade, at most tearing the world's barrier to project power from afar. Yet as the 9 nether demon venerable turned around, he suddenly noticed, with shrinking pupils, that Central Earth behind him had vanished without him realizing. Yes, it disappeared. An illusion. No, it's the mirage law of the demon mirage. Great dream demon venerable, is that you? The only one capable of creating a mirage shielding the 2 calamities realm 9 nether demon venerable was none other than the great dream demon venerable from the ancient demon realm. He was the father of Flowing Edge Desolation, a 3 calamities realm powerhouse of the current age. He actually acted against Jiang Fan. The mirage shifted, and a colossal beast shadow appeared within, flickering faintly. It emitted a chilling and deep voice. Release my son, Jiang Fan, child. Inside the bell, Jiang Fan's mind trembled. The ancient monster mirage actually came personally. Even if the chaotic ancient blood marquis hadn't come to kill today, the ancient monster mirage before him would never let it go. He took out the Tai Chu prison sky gourd, and feeling the menacing aura of the great wine sacrifices and the chaotic ancient blood marquis behind, he spoke urgently. If I release him, will you let us leave? With a buzz. The scenery before them changed abruptly. The vanished Central Earth suddenly appeared in front of them. At the same time, a gigantic insect, several hundred meters tall, stood upright. Its body was covered with eyes, from its neck to its torso to its many legs, all densely packed with countless eyes. Each one was filled with a kind of enchanting allure for both the eyes and the heart spirit. Atop its head, a pair of blood-red eyes emitted cold and cunning glances. "Of course, I have come to retrieve my son, Flowing Edge Desolation. Release him and all grievances are wiped clean." Jiang Fan's gaze flashed subtly as he said, "All right, it's a deal. Come out." With a thought, a wisp of blue smoke emerged from the Tai Chu prison sky gourd, landing and coalescing into the body of Flowing Edge Desolation. He looked around slightly bewildered, and when he noticed the massive figure in front, he exclaimed, "Father!" He made a move to rush over, but Jiang Fan placed an evil sword against his neck. "Who said you could leave?" Just like that, letting Liu Bianhuang go, isn't there life and death at the whim of the great dream demon venerable? The 9 nether demon venerable snorted, grasping the heavenly spirit cover of Liu Bianhuang, said, "To participate in the ancient hunt, I have been suppressing my realm. Otherwise, I would have long ascended to demon venerable. Such an outstanding son, no wonder you great dream demon venerable came personally to seek him. If you don't want him to die, step aside. Once we return to Central Earth, we will release him." Murder flashed through the blood-red eyes of the great dream demon venerable, revealing hesitation. Jiang Fan said, "If I wanted to kill Liu Bianhuang, he would have been dead long ago. Would I wait for you to rescue him? His life is unimportant to me." Hearing this, the great dream demon venerable slowly made way with his massive figure, saying in a deep voice, "You'd better keep your word. Otherwise, you will regret it." The 9 nether demon venerable had no more doubts, holding the immortal king's undying bell in one hand, pressing Liu Bianhuang's heavenly spirit cover with the other, and flew into Central Earth. Jiang Fan looked back. He saw the sky dome ring created by the great wine sacrifice and the blood-colored long spear mutually obliterate each other. The two created tsunami-like law shockwaves, covering the sky, radiating to all corners of the void. The sages from various worlds watching from afar changed their expressions dramatically, protecting the juniors and fleeing. Those who couldn't evade were engulfed on the spot, rushing into unknown depths of the void. And the Star River floating around the battlefield was blasted to flow backward by the shockwave on the spot. Even Central Earth, it slightly trembled and displaced. Jiang Fan's pupils narrowed. The ripples of the confrontation between him and the young emperor were like a stream compared to the vast sea in front of such vast shockwaves, not on the same level at all. And in the destructive shockwave, Jiang Fan saw the figure of the young emperor. He still stood in place, looking up at the sky with a smile on his lips, allowing the shockwave to sweep over. In an instant, he vanished into the ripple, dispersing into shadows. Shouldn't he be obliterated? Jiang Fan felt no joy, only deep-seated pain. If he hadn't appeared, would the Lianjing Venerable and the young emperor still be alive? "Okay, you've reached Central Earth, release my son." Within the shockwave, the great dream demon venerable cast layers of mist, easily isolating the shock. His formidable power was undeniable. Jiang Fan glanced around through the undying bell and indeed returned to Central Earth. He even saw the sages of Central Earth coming to greet them, materializing from the void. The 9 nether demon venerable scanned around and flicked his finger, sending Liu Bianhuang flying beside the great dream demon venerable. "Dad!" Liu Bianhuang, surviving the ordeal, showed a look of dread. Imprisoned in the Tai Chu prison sky gourd for so long, thinking he was doomed, he didn't expect to see the light of day again. Thinking of being captured by Jiang Fan, his face was full of hostility, saying, "Dad, I want to kill Jiang Fan." The great dream demon venerable's blood-red eyes showed a touch of mockery. "I never planned to let him go either." The 9 nether demon venerable's expression changed slightly, sensing something wrong. The next moment, their surroundings changed again. Clearly having been in Central Earth, they still found themselves in the void and getting farther from Central Earth. The 9 nether demon venerable exclaimed, "You never lifted the mirage law." The Central Earth they saw was just another mirage woven by the great dream demon venerable. The great dream demon venerable squinted his blood-red eyes at Jiang Fan, coldly saying, "Jiang Fan once cheated my ancient token, making me a laughingstock, and cost me dearly to purchase another ancient token. That would be all, yet in the ancient hunt, he captured my son, costing him the match, denying my ancient demon realm the ceasefire with the ancient giant battle. To this day, my ancient demon realm remains in turmoil. If he doesn't die, it's intolerable by heaven." The resentment in the great dream demon venerable's words was even more than Liu Bianhuang's. "Human clan, your death is at hand. His blood-red eyes flashed, ready to launch a killing blow. Yet Jiang Fan remained unnaturally calm, saying, "Is that so? Then say goodbye to your precious son first." The great dream demon Venerable's heart skipped, hurriedly looking at Liu and Huang, only to find a subtle beam of light entwined around him. The other end of the beam extended towards Jiang Fan's bell. It turns out Jiang Fan had long secretly activated the Tai Chu prison sky gourd under the cover of the bell. He had foreseen the great dream demon Venerable wouldn't easily let them go, so he had precautions prepared. Liu and Huang's pupils shrank dramatically, gasping, "Dad, save me." "Collect!" The answer was Jiang Fan's low shout. The great dream demon Venerable's expression changed, roaring, "Stop!" Bloody mist shot from his eyes, transforming into hands grabbing the void's beam chain. Liu and Huang's abduction trend halted for a moment, but no more. With the Tai Chu prison sky gourd's activation, the chain mercilessly dragged Liu and Huang, who turned into a wisp of smoke entering the gourd. "You little beast, release my son!" The great dream demon Venerable's roaring was interspersed with the might of the three calamities realm, making the immortal king's undying bell hum ceaselessly. Jiang Fan felt a tremendous shock in his organs. A thought stirred in his mind, activating the third domain, converting the roar's attack into his own strength. The depleted divinity transformation power, physical power, and even void flow thunder force restored somewhat. Noticing Jiang Fan's transformation, the great dream demon Venerable was all the more stunned and enraged. "Release him! Immediately! Now! Right away!" Jiang Fan snorted, shaking the gourd twice. "If I shake it again, your son will be dead. Get lost!" The great dream demon Venerable was infinitely furious, murderous intent materializing and spreading, but through the crack, seeing the Tai Chu prison sky gourd in Jiang Fan's hand, he dared not act rashly. But letting Jiang Fan go was impossible, as they were at an impasse. A clear clatter of hoofbeats overshadowed the vast roaring boom, ringing in everyone's ears. Looking far away, a snow-white warhorse emerged, departing from the sweeping shockwaves, treading toward them under a blood moon. Upon the horse sat a burly figure surrounded by black mist, clad in immortal armor, wearing a metal mask. The ancient black cloak on his back flapped fiercely. His indifferent eyes emitted a divine glow unmatched on heaven and earth. Jiang Fan's heart and soul trembled. Chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis. The chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis left an indelible mark in Jiang Fan's memory, and he hadn't forgotten Jiang Fan, arriving as promised to kill him. The great dream demon Venerable squinted his eyes. The chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis only ever hunts the virtuous realm. Yet you, a divinity transformation realm, have provoked him to personally hunt you down. I can't imagine what you did to infuriate him so. Jiang Fan's face was as dark as water. What could he have done? It was only not handing over his head an ancient token to the chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis, merely killing his projection with the execution pen. The blood character on his forehead was branded by his original self across the realm. Watching the approaching chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis full of killing intent, Jiang Fan's heart lifted. Can the great wine sacrifice stop him? Under their watchful eyes, the chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis charged forward like black lightning. The overwhelming pressure felt unstoppable, leaving the sages within the void breathless. Could the great wine sacrifice of Central Earth stop this ancient fierce being, infamous for 10,000 years? The great wine sacrifice of Taikang State exchanged glances with the other 8 sacrifices, their expressions calm. Strike, with a flick of the horsetail whisk, the 9 acted in unison as if with one mind. Monuments emerged behind them, each standing at a point, forming a wondrous array. As the Merit Divine Steel radiated golden light, it converged to form a 1,000-foot-tall golden phantom. The details of its body were discernible. Even the folds in its sleeves were exceptionally clear, except the face, which remained blurred and indistinct. "Those who stand in my way shall be killed without mercy." The chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis raised his hand, summoning a blood-colored spear, riding like a stream of black light to kill. The 1,000-foot golden phantom formed hand seals, and 9 differently colored rings emerged, then merged as one to blast toward the chaotic Ancient Blood Marquis. Boom! An even more terrifying wave than before exploded, devastating everything in its path. The entire void shook like an earthquake. Fragments of law chains materialized, shooting in all directions like a tsunami of laws. Even the ordinary sages, not to mention the great dream demon Venerable, looked grave. Who are the 9 great wine sacrifices of Central Earth? How can they contend with the Blood Marquis? one of the 7 lords of chaotic ancient. He decisively unleashed vast power of laws, forming a mist that blocked the fragments of the law chains outside. Even so, he found it strenuous, his massive body retreating continuously against the mist of laws. The 9 nether demon venerable's pupils contracted drastically, quickly leading Jiang Fan towards Central Earth at high speed. With the great wine sacrifices blocking the chaotic ancient blood marquis, their return to Central Earth was unquestionable. The great dream demon venerable noticed their movement, a hint of killing intent flashing in his eyes, but hesitated when he saw the Tai Chu prison sky gourd in their hands. And in that moment, the 9 nether demon venerable had already brought Jiang Fan to the skies of Central Earth. The chaotic ancient blood marquis also noticed Jiang Fan's movement. If Jiang Fan returned to Central Earth, killing him would be much harder. "If you let him return to Central Earth, I will take your life." The face of the great dream demon venerable changed dramatically. They were both in the 3 calamities realm, but their strengths differed. Ancient beings like the 7 lords of chaotic ancient were not comparable to the new 3 calamities realm beings. Yet if he intercepted Jiang Fan, the latter would surely kill his own son. His precious only offspring, Liu Bianwang, was the most important to him in this life. Gritting his teeth, he stared at the backs of the 9 great wine sacrifices and decisively surged forward with overwhelming mist. He did not attack Jiang Fan directly, neither provoking him nor violating the command of the chaotic ancient blood marquis. Right. The simultaneous assault on the 9 great wine sacrifices from the 2-3 calamities realm beings was predictable. The 1,000-foot light shadow instantaneously shattered. The chaotic ancient blood marquis gaze was domineering, riding through the formation of the 9 great wine sacrifices on the blood moon, charging at Jiang Fan with his long spear. Arriving in the skies of Central Earth, Jiang Fan could clearly see the world barrier opening beneath him. With a single thought, they could successfully return to Central Earth. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura locked onto him, the blood character on his forehead flashing crazily as if it was about to ignite. Looking back, the chaotic ancient blood marquis was upon him, riding the white bone warhorse. Cold and ruthless eyes, filled with peerless killing intent. "Send you on your way," the long spear in his hand fiercely thrust towards Jiang Fan. This strike required the 9 great wine sacrifices to fend it off together, with what could Jiang Fan block it. The immortal king's undying bell around him was the first to be pierced by the spear. With a cracking sound, the immortal king's undying bell shattered, breaking into countless pieces. This remnant world artifact of the heavenly realm was directly destroyed. The life-taking spearhead mercilessly thrust towards Jiang Fan. Everything happened too fast, too fast. Not to mention the dispersed 9 great wine sacrifices, even the 9 nether demon venerable at close proximity had pupils shrinking, unable to intercept in time. In fact, he couldn't intercept it. How many in this world could stop a strike from the chaotic ancient blood marquis? Time seemed to stop at this moment, everyone's hearts ceased to beat. Jiang Fan, surely doomed? Yet, a strange scene unfolded, the spear stopping just a foot away from Jiang Fan, as its edge aimed to claim his life. The time between heaven and earth froze. The chaotic ancient blood marquis remained in the spear-thrusting stance, the 9 nether demon venerable retained his sharp intake of breath posture, and the distant great wine sacrifices kept their scattered stance. Even the diffusing tsunami of law chains fragments came to a standstill. The entire world, except for Jiang Fan, fell into a brief state of time freeze. Jiang Fan had no time to ponder who or why stopped time and space. He instinctively wanted to use instantaneous movement to return to Central Earth, but it was too late. The blood spear was dangerously close. Once the time freeze ended, it could still kill him across half a world. He thought of activating the 9 prison Usura Emperor's seed, and if successful, he could turn the chaotic ancient blood marquis into a puppet. But the world-ending spear so close would still pierce through him, killing him. What to do? In the life-and-death crisis, a flash of inspiration suddenly crossed his mind, and a jade talisman shattered. A tremendous power of cause and effect enveloped Jiang Fan, the 9 nether demon venerable, and the immortal king's undying bell. This was exactly a fortune of cause and effect gifted to him by the Lord of Fengdu from the Hell Realm. This was the fortune of cause and effect of the 9 prison Usura Emperor. She had said that if Jiang Fan encountered unparalleled danger, he might find unexpected vitality by activating this talisman. Now it was just the time. Boom! the silent heavens and earth suddenly erupted. Time between heaven and earth resumed flow. The spear in the chaotic ancient blood marquee hand thrust fiercely. Yet an inexplicable void whirlwind appeared without warning, whisking Jiang Fan, the nine nether demon venerable, and the immortal king's undying bell away to vanish instantly. The blood-colored spear missed, its terrifying edge pierced through the barrier of the central Earth world, and struck an uninhabited area in a great state of central Earth. The ground was shattered into a terrifying abyss, spanning 10,000 miles, and its momentum did not diminish, breaking through the world barrier on the other side. This strike had pierced through central Earth. Even the blood-colored spear thrown across realms by the nine-day giant emperor had not shown such a formidable force. The chaotic ancient blood marquis surveyed his surroundings, speaking in a low tone. Power of time? Who is intervening? The only answer he received was the dead silence of the void. The great dream demon venerable watched in silent shock as the chaotic ancient blood marquis missed his target. Central Earth Jiang Fan actually escaped the chaotic ancient blood marquis, sure kill blow. He must be the number one in the 100 realms of all heavens, right? The great wine sacrifice of Taikang State scanned the void, feeling the aftereffects of the power of time, their expression heavy. After exchanging glances, the 9 great wine sacrifices' expressions grew even more serious. Between them, there was also a glint of fear that flashed through their eyes. State tightly clutched his horsetail whisk, his voice trembling slightly. If I didn't feel it wrong, this power of time is... He didn't dare finish his sentence, eyes revealing an unfathomable expression. The other 8 great wine sacrifices were equally apprehensive. Go, quickly find Jiang Fan, he hasn't returned to Central Earth. The great wine sacrifice of Taikang State snapped back to reality. With a glance towards Central Earth, he immediately sensed Jiang Fan's absence. The 9 of them instantly transformed into shadows and dispersed, searching for Jiang Fan. Clop, clop. The chaotic ancient blood marquis also turned his horse, gazing towards the east of Central Earth world, chasing under the blood moon. The blood mark on Jiang Fan's forehead would exist until the next day, allowing the chaotic ancient blood marquis to sense him across endless void, hunting him to the ends of the earth. That's why no one can escape from the pursuit of the 7 lords of chaotic ancient. The great dream demon venerable and a group of sages hesitated and ultimately didn't chase after him. Hopefully Jiang Fan can come back alive. We still count on him to sell us the peace monument. Jiang Yishan plopped down beside a sage companion's side. Ah, what a blow. During the archaic hunt, I thought I could still wrestle with him, but after just half a month, he seems like a different person. He thought the sage beside him would comfort him, but there was no response. Turning his head, he saw the sage summoning a poisoned body of the heavenly person 4 declines, staring at it blankly. Occasionally coming back to reality, he flipped through his own poison origin scripture, comparing it with the poison body's refining process, then continued his days. Like someone plunged into doubt about life. Meanwhile, in Central Earth, Taikang State, the waves in the South Sea were like clouds. The old dream demon emperor in a graceful black dress stood quietly on the sea surface. Suddenly feeling something, her crystal eyes gently opened, a trace of comfort appeared on her lips. It's great to have helped you. The sea breeze swept in, lifting her black hair amidst the dance. There were unexpectedly a few strands of silver. She reached out her jade fingers to clip a silver thread, dazed for a long time, sighed softly with a complex tone. Seems like I too will grow old. Beyond the sky. Boom, swept by the void storm, after spinning at high speed for an unknown duration, Jiang Fan suddenly crashed violently into a hard surface. He spat blood instantly from the collision, his bones shattered. Internal organs turned to mush, and the flesh on his body was quickly torn apart, almost shattered into pieces, dying on the spot. Seizing the moment his consciousness was intact, he quickly restored himself with the second domain. The severe injuries quickly recovered. Once his body was relieved, he had time to examine the surroundings. He found himself in a dark place filled with void storms everywhere. Underfoot was a stretch of black hard ground, not ordinary soil, but some kind of artificially created metal. Jiang Fan had collided with it, almost breaking apart, but the ground remained unscathed, not even leaving a mark. Upon the boundless black ground, several void storms moved rapidly, tornado-shaped, sweeping up all the debris on the ground, then crushing it in the storm. He had been swept by one of the storms earlier and ended up here. Why wasn't I sent back to Central Earth? Jiang Fan frowned. Isn't it said that creation cause and effect must lead to creation? So why end up in this treacherous place? Not only were the storms vicious, but it was deep in the void somewhere unknown. The chaotic ancient blood marquis could trace him any time using the blood mark on his forehead. Just then, as if aware of his arrival, 6 void storms charged at high speed from different directions, some merging, becoming lethal void storms. Jiang Fan's face changed drastically, just about to pull out the void feather robe to escape, when his shoulder suddenly sank. A strong hand lifted him, quickly fleeing the place. Looking up, it was the 9-nether demon venerable with delicate features, rarely speaking. Senior 9-nether. Turns out he had been swept here too. Having a sage of the 2 calamities realm accompanying undeniably made it safer. Under the lead of the 9-nether demon venerable, the 2 quickly eluded the storms. Moreover, the 9-nether demon venerable skillfully darted towards the west of the land, not hurried to leave. Jiang Fan was surprised. Senior 9-nether, do you recognize this place? The 9-nether demon venerable spoke as rarely as ever. Been here. Jiang Fan, curious. Is this a world in the void? The 9-nether demon venerable said. No, it's a relic, a very dangerous celestial relic. Don't know why the storm sent us here. I have nothing from this relic on me, shouldn't have been transported here. Oh, transported. The earlier void storm had a space transferability. Moreover, it also had random space transmission, transporting related items together. But how could the 9-nether demon venerable have been transported here without anything from this relic? Would Jiang Fan himself have something? Jiang Fan puzzledly suddenly remembered something, shuddered. Senior 9-nether, could this be the celestial relic from back when the Asura Saint's son tricked you into coming? The compassionate sage was gravely injured because of this. There were 2 things he didn't mention. Firstly, this is where compassionate old dog took back the little killin. Secondly, the dog chain he helped the Asura Saint's son keep also came from this place. It explains why they were transported to this celestial relic. Because the little killin and dog chain are with Jiang Fan. Oh, you know about this place? 9-nether demon venerable surprised. Indeed, it is that perilous sight. Jiang Fan clicked his tongue, solemnly said, Shouldn't we quickly leave the relic? Even the compassionate old dog got hurt. If this place is safe, pigs could fly. 9-nether demon venerable said, Because something more dangerous is outside. Jiang Fan raised his gaze towards beyond, his pupils constricted sharply. Only to see outside rows of patrolling ancient metal puppets traversing the void around the relic. They existed for an unknown number of years, mottled with traces of age. Delicate areas like facial features were all damaged to different degrees. Astonishingly, they still maintained activity. As if sensing them, a patrolling row of metal puppets suddenly emitted black light, leaping towards them. Void storms surged within them, forming wings, approaching nearly at instantaneous speed. This speed even 9-nether demon venerable doesn't have. Seeing a puppet already appearing before them, wielding a black metal sword cutting down. Jiang Fan decisively took out the evil sword. 9-nether demon venerable's face changed, said, Be careful, they have Sage Realm strength. What? Jiang Fan gasped, a metal puppet with Sage Realm strength. In his current state, he couldn't withstand a sage's strike. The sword-swinging action changed to activating the evil sword's feature. Grow! Swoosh! The evil sword instantly elongated to 10,000 feet, pressed against the metal puppet's chest, toppling it. The slashing blade struck thousands of feet away, causing a series of law fragments. Jiang Fan secretly relieved. Thankfully 9-nether demon venerable warned him, otherwise he would have been another victim of the blade. Yet there were dozens of metal puppets charging forth. 9-nether demon venerable decisively released bloodline talent, blasting away a group of metal puppets. Jiang Fan's expression turned grim. He decisively retracted the black sword, then suddenly extended it, sending the puppet flying. Long, longer, longest! With 3 consecutive shouts, the metal puppet was knocked flying each time. The 9-nether demon venerable was briefly stunned as he watched, and said, Is that how you're supposed to use a sword? Jiang Fan felt as if he had discovered a new continent. Compared to slashing, this evil sword seemed more suited for stabbing. Of course, that was only because the puppets in front of him didn't have much spiritual wisdom and didn't know how to dodge, so he could skewer them with pinpoint accuracy. If it were a normal sage instead, actually managing to stab them would be a miracle. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Suddenly, a dense series of air-tearing sounds came. Jiang Fan looked up and his scalp went numb. The battle here had attracted the attention of a large number of metal puppets from beyond the sky, who were diving down in groups of 10. There were at least several dozen of them. Each one of these puppets possessed sage-level battle power. With so many attacking at once, even a two calamities realm sage would die on the spot in frustration. Worse still, they all unleashed a void storm, and at their speed they would be upon them in just a few breaths. "We're here," at this critical moment, the nine nether demon venerable barked out a low shout. Jiang Fan looked over and saw a massive stone gate embedded in the ground, made of the same black, rock-hard stone. But on the stone gate there was a humanoid gap. It was as if some terrifying existence had walked out from inside, melting a human-shaped hole through the gate. And on the stone gate were a few extremely ancient characters. Sumeru Divine Prison. Just looking at it, Jiang Fan immediately felt a vast, boundless pressure surge toward him. His soul, physical power, and even soul power were all severely suppressed. Even the nine nether demon venerable had his speed somewhat suppressed. "Prison? This ruin is a prison?" A trace of surprise flashed through Jiang Fan's heart. But when he thought of the dog chain used to tether the little Killin, everything suddenly made sense. Whoosh behind them, a burst of terrifying blade energy erupted, each strand containing flickering law chains. The nine nether demon venerable's expression changed. He flung Jiang Fan into the stone gate with a backhand throw and stayed behind to cover him. Boom! Numerous laws descended upon him, shattering the huge serpent shadow formed from the bloodline talent he had condensed. The nine nether demon venerable, whose heart spirit was linked, grunted heavily, vomiting blood as he was sent flying. But more metal puppets were charging in together. The nine nether demon venerable's pupils shrank, then he silently sighed in his heart. "It ends here." Just as he sensed death approaching, his collar suddenly tightened, and the next instant a tremendous force yanked him away with instantaneous movement. When he appeared again, he had already passed through the stone gate and emerged inside the divine prison. Jiang Fan removed the hook, put away the void fishing rod, and said, "Senior, how are your injuries?" After Jiang Fan had been thrown in, he had immediately activated the void fishing rod. He had thought that, when used on a Sage Realm target, its effectiveness would drop drastically. Unexpectedly in the void, the rod could still achieve instantaneous movement to hook people and objects. In the void, even beings as strong as the chaotic ancient blood marquis apparently had no teleportation abilities. Yet the void fishing rod could still instantaneously retrieve objects. Not only was its function not restricted, it was actually amplified in the void. Worthy of being a product of the void ancient tree, Jiang Fan secretly rejoiced. Cough, cough, the nine nether demon venerable coughed heavily a few times, spitting out a mouthful of demon venerable blood. His injuries were quite severe. "I'm fine. My life isn't in danger. Once we're inside the divine prison, we're safe. Those metal puppets outside won't enter the divine prison." Jiang Fan finally understood how old dog Sixin had ended up so heavily injured. If even a nine nether demon venerable at the two calamities realm hadn't been able to avoid this, how could old dog Sixin? "Senior, please focus on healing first." Jiang Fan glanced around as he spoke. The outside of the divine prison was already this dangerous. Wouldn't the inside be even more deadly? Without the nine nether demon venerable protecting him, he might be facing annihilation at any moment. The nine nether demon venerable nodded slightly, sat cross-legged, and carefully took out a thread of golden blood. It was only as long as a finger. If one didn't look closely, it would be almost invisible. But the pressure it exuded was incomparably strong, carrying an extremely powerful holy power. This was 10,000 spirits' ancestor blood, the blood of the demon race sacred realm. Compared to the 10,000 spirits' ancestor blood he had obtained in the demon continent, this ancestor blood was incomparably pure. The nine nether demon venerable said reluctantly, "This is the last strand I have. I'd planned to save it to charge into a higher realm, but now that I've been wounded by laws, I can only use it to disperse the laws within my body." He opened his mouth, about to swallow it. A thought stirred in Jiang Fan's heart. "Senior, wait, taking it like this is a bit of a waste. This junior has a bold idea." As he spoke, he took out the dog bowl. "Senior, why not put the demon saint blood into this first?" The nine nether demon venerable didn't understand. After hesitating for a moment, he still placed the demon saint blood that was about to enter his mouth into the bowl. As a result, in the next instant, a strand of demon saint blood of the exact same size appeared out of thin air. The nine nether demon venerable's long, narrow, and sinister eyes went wide on the spot. He shot to his feet in fright. "This is..." Jiang Fan smiled, returned the demon saint blood to the 9 nether demon venerable, and put away the new one himself. Ling Shu was going to follow the 9 nether demon venerable to distant lands to cultivate alien power. As her big brother, he couldn't let his good little sister leave without any preparations, could he? From now on, he'd copy demon saint blood every day so she could carry it on the road as dry rations. Just a little trick to take advantage of others. Please don't mind it, senior. Jiang Fan put away the dog bowl. The 9 nether demon venerable exclaimed, "Take advantage. You're bleeding the demon saints dry? Fortunately, the saints these days don't dare move. Otherwise, the instant you bled them, they'd be chasing you down the next instant." Jiang Fan shrugged. "They can't detect me anyway. Besides, they can't move." The 9 nether demon venerable said, "Don't get careless. It's best to maintain some reverence toward saints. At certain special points in time, using special methods, it is possible for saints to emerge briefly into the world." Hiss, Jiang Fan was chilled to the core. A saint walking the world, how terrifying would that be? It was simply beyond imagination. "Thank you for the warning, senior." The 9 nether demon venerable inclined his head. "I'll be healing, don't wander too far." In the Sumeru Divine Prison, although most places have been abandoned, there are still a few cells that still imprison beings from ages long past. If you get too close by accident, you'll die for sure. Jiang Fan looked toward the pitch-black depths of the prison cells and felt his hair stand on end. What kind of beings could be imprisoned for 10,000 years and still be alive? The only ones he could think of were ancient sages of the 3 calamities realm or even those of the saint realm. At that moment, Jiang Fan's ears twitched. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but he faintly heard an extremely weak sound coming from deep within the cells. Was it some ancient prisoner who was still alive? His heart tightened, but soon he felt that something was off. The voice sounded a bit familiar. "Senior, I'll be right back." He used the no-self dust cleansing technique to hide his aura and quietly slipped deeper in. After moving forward some distance, he finally heard the voice clearly. "Don't worry, I won't hurt you. No one fights, no one robs, we all make a fortune in peace."